And here we go at 1 o'clock. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live on this Wednesday afternoon. We're so glad you're here. I'm Tyler Fingert. We have a lot to get to this afternoon. If you were anywhere in the metro Atlanta area last night, specifically North Georgia, you certainly know that we experienced some severe weather, and we want to talk about that first. So let's get underway right now and talk about what we saw in our area overnight. And places are now cleaning up damage and debris after storms rolled through the area. And so parts of Fulton County, DeKalb County, and especially Gilmer County were impacted as trees came down, and there was also flooding. You're looking at some of the video we captured overnight. In fact, some parts of Gilmer County are under a boil water advisory right now. High-risk zones face low pressure and potential contamination following a severe storm washed out along Highway 52. So affected residents should boil tap water rapidly for 1 full minute before drinking or cooking. And obviously we are staying on top of the severe storms that moved through overnight. We have a team of reporters scattered throughout our area staying on top of this. Let's check in with our assignment manager, Tanya Mendoza, who has been checking in with all of our reporters today. Tanya, what can you tell us about the damage we saw and what our reporters are working on this afternoon?
That's right, Tyler. The storms brought in a lot of rain and a lot of flooding in some areas and trees and wires down, especially up in Gilmer County. And Gilmer County, the sheriff's office actually posted a lengthy press release if anybody wants to go over to Facebook and check that out. But they outlined all the damage, and that's where our Larry Spruill is covering as they clean up, covering that story as they clean up today. But let me go over some of the highlights from that press release. They said a slow-moving thunderstorm dropped nearly 4 inches of rain in an hour in downtown Apalachee overnight, marking one of the county's worst flash flooding events in recent years. Some of the major points here, they said there was a nursing home evacuation. Floodwaters forced the emergency relocation of 60 residents from a local nursing home. Also, road closures and some infrastructure damage over at Gates Chapel Road and Zion Hill Road, and we have some of those pictures right there that you're seeing were posted by the sheriff's office on their Facebook page. So that was at Gates Chapel Road and Zion Hill Road. That was completely washed out, and State Highway 52 West is closed due to that water main break that you were talking about along Cox Creek Road. And they're saying that that is an estimated 3 to 4 days for repairs, Tyler. So it's going to take a while for all the cleanup over in that area. Larry Spruill will have the latest. Let's move on now to DeKalb County. So in DeKalb County over Northern Avenue, there was some severe storm damage, and there were trees down. We had Mark Teichner out there overnight covering that, but there was a miracle in the middle of all of this. A man who was working an overnight shift got a call from his wife who was pregnant. She said the baby was coming and she needed help. He flagged down some of the emergency workers from the fire department over in that area. I guess they followed him over and the baby was delivered. We're going to hear from those firefighters and emergency workers later on in about an hour. Annie Mapp's heading over to a press conference they're going to have, and we're going to hear all about the childbirth. Tyler?
That is absolutely wild. I mean, the fact that this happened, and shout out to those first responders who were able to help out. And I understand, I believe we have some sound.
Yeah, we have a sound bite with the dad. So let's listen in.
Go to working, so my wife will call me. I come to go to hospital. I say, wait, give me 1 second, I come in. So one time, 30 minutes, she calling me, baby, come back now. So I'm come to home, I'm knock door, I'm open door, I see my wife and baby.
And Tyler, you know what I love about that interview is the smile on his face. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what a great moment in the middle of all that chaos last night.
You'll certainly remember that, and I'm sure they'll be telling that story to their child as he gets older. I mean, obviously, happy outcome in that situation. First responders able to help out. Probably a very scary situation also, because you're trying to get to the hospital, you're dealing with the severe storms that move through, and then all of the issues surrounding the downed trees and things like that. And I'm just glad Mark Teichner was able to talk with him, and we can hear from him. Obviously a proud dad that he now is a father. I don't know if it's his first child or if he's had other children before, but certainly a story he'll remember.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I do want to mention another story that happened in DeKalb County, and this is an update on a story that we previously reported on July 24th, and it involves that double homicide in the Constitution Lakes Park area. So basically, the DeKalb County Police Department sent over an update this morning, and they say they have arrested a 15-year-old male and charged him with 2 counts of malice murder, possession of a pistol by a minor, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. They are not going to send over a name or mugshot right now. That's being withheld due to age. The victims in this case were identified earlier in the week as Andres Pedro Baltazar and Tomas Pascual Cano, and they were found fatally shot in the park's parking lot on July 24th. So that's an update on that story. Anybody with any more information on this case should call the DeKalb County Police Department. Tyler?
Yeah, obviously, if anyone knows anything, call police. And just quickly, before we run out of time here, let's talk about Gwinnett County and their 911 system and a new priority system when it comes to responding.
That's right. So Eric Perry's working on this story, and he's interviewing the county fire department about this in the 911 center. Gwinnett County 911 launched the Fire Priority Dispatch System, equipping communications officers with standardized research-based questions tailored to fire emergencies. So basically, how I read it in their little update was that they're going to be asking a new set of questions when people are calling 911, but they're saying that this is not going to delay the response time. So Eric Perry's interviewing him about this, and he'll have a breakdown on the full story later. Tyler?
I'm certainly interested in that story as they're trying to obviously make the system better and try to prioritize certain calls. So I'll look for Eric Perry a little bit later here on Fox 5 News Live at 2 and 3 o'clock. Tanya Mendoza, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I do appreciate it. Let's get to some of the other headlines we're following right now. If you joined us here for Fox 5 News Live at 3 o'clock yesterday, you watched it play out live and raw and unfiltered right here on our stream. Apalachee school shooter Colt Gray will spend the rest of his life in prison without parole. That's what the judge decided yesterday afternoon. The judge handed down the sentence after 3 days of emotional testimony, and this comes after he pled guilty last week to each of the 55 counts against him, and for shooting and killing 4 people and hurting nearly a dozen others. I believe you're looking at the father of Colt Gray right now. This is Colin Gray you're looking at. There's the right video we have for you. Lawyers for the teen tried to emphasize his struggles with mental illness, but the judge sided with prosecutors, agreeing this attack was ultimately fueled by a sick obsession with mass killers. He did not hold back. The judge did not hold back as he told Colt and told everyone who was inside the courtroom that he felt that Colt needed to spend the rest of his life behind bars without parole. Now let's talk about Colin Gray. You saw him a second ago. The shooter's father will learn his fate tomorrow. So a judge plans to sentence him on felony second-degree murder. In March, a jury found him guilty for giving his son the AR-15 style rifle used in the attack. And prosecutors argued Colin Gray ignored warning signs about his son's mental state and knew he was a danger. The 55-year-old faces up to 180 years in prison on the 27 counts a jury convicted him on. I should mention that during the hearing yesterday, the judge told Colt that he came from a broken house and his parents failed him. So that could be kind of an indication of what we could see play out in court tomorrow. As always, Fox 5 will keep you up to date every step of the way. We'll be covering it for you. We'll also be talking to legal experts throughout the afternoon and morning here on Fox 5 News Live. Let's continue on here right now. A funeral is happening in South Carolina. It's going to be the final funeral for the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Let's see if we can take it live right now. You are looking at people speaking at the podium right now. That funeral got underway at the top of the noon hour. So let me just fill you in on what we know right now. So mourners are saying their final goodbyes to Senator Lindsey Graham in his home state of South Carolina. A service has been underway at the First Baptist Church of Columbia. You can see his flag-draped casket right there. This is a live shot coming in off the feeds live from South Carolina. And so earlier today, Graham's casket was carried by a ceremonial horse-drawn wagon through the state's capital for his final procession. And so a flyover also took place involving F-16 military jets, which honored Graham, who was a former Air Force lawyer. And so later today, a private burial will happen in Pickens County in South Carolina, which is near his home. He was eulogized in Washington yesterday by President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. We heard from a number of people during that ceremony. We should mention Graham was 71 years old when he died earlier this month. I want to talk about something that happened in our nation's capital today on Capitol Hill. Federal lawmakers in our nation's capital were talking to Dr. Anthony Fauci as he testified. Fauci is the infectious disease specialist who led the nation's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so he was back on Capitol Hill today, where he refused to answer any questions over the origins of the COVID-19 virus and contradictions in his public messaging at the time. His appearance comes after GOP Senator Rand Paul released more than 1,000 pages from Fauci's personal diary from the pandemic years, where he admitted some of his COVID mandates were not working. Senator Paul tried to ask about funding gain-of-function research at a lab in Wuhan, China, and other biolabs, but every question was met with the same answer. Take a listen.
Respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
It's against the law to obstruct an investigation of Congress. There will be repercussions to your refusal to testify today.
And during Dr. Fauci's brief opening statement, he accused Paul of being obsessed with him and charged over the pandemic response. And Democrats in the hearing were mostly supportive of Fauci, invoking his Fifth Amendment right not to answer questions, even though Fauci received a protective pardon from former President Biden before he left office. So obviously we talked about the weather at the top of the show. We saw a lot of damage at different parts of our area. A lot of it is cleared out for the most part, but let's get a check of the forecast with Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Doug Evans, who is standing by. And you know, once the rain is gone, we know the humidity sticks around, and that map kind of has me a little concerned if I step outside. It's been a few hours since I've been outside, and it must be hot and humid out there, Doug.
It is extremely muggy, as our map indicates, and if you step outside for yourself, you'll see it's downright tropical outside. The good news is, and there is good news, is that we're going to get rid of this humidity for a couple of days, and we're going to get a break, a nice break, as we close out July, and just for the start of school, right? But by the time the kids head back to school on Monday, then we're right back to the heat and humidity. There's no break, except for the next 2 days that we're going to get. Right now, downright tropical, as our map indicates out there. The good news is that we've, on the backside of a cold front that fired up those storms overnight, and weren't they intense, there's cold air. And colder air, cooler air, and drier air that is back behind that cold front. And that's going to bring us some relief in our humidity. We look at Thursday and Friday, and that is in the comfy zone. That sounds good, right? And then for the weekend, we're back to very humid. It is summertime in Georgia, and that's what we expect, but it is nice when we get a break from it. There's that cold front that came through. Now a stationary front locked into place in South Georgia. Can't rule out the possibility of some thunderstorms still firing up in Troup County and LaGrange this afternoon. We'll have to see. But that drier air that's moving in from the north, that's going to cool us off a little bit. That is also going to bring some much needed relief in the way of dealing with this humidity. So that's the good news. Then we're right back to it, but that's the way it is. 80 degrees right now across metro Atlanta. The exceptions, Edenton and Milledgeville. It's going to be hot there, almost 100 degrees there to the southeast of Atlanta. And so we're all looking at a temperature that's going to go up to the low 90s today, except for those areas, as we said, close to 100 down there. So we're all looking at a very humid afternoon with temperatures in the low 90s. We don't get that lower humidity until this evening when that drier air finally reaches us. That's good news for our overnight as well, as we look at temperatures that are more kind of seasonable overnight in the 60s and 70s. We clear out the humidity and everything, so that's going to be a very pleasant overnight. When those storms rolled through at 2 in the morning, and man, it was booming like crazy out there, right? Look at the thermometer. It was 80 degrees at 2 o'clock in the morning, so it was a little stifling out there. Okay, and that helped fire up these storms, right? On the backside of that frontal system, then we start to dry out. We start to get rid of our cloud cover. We're going to get some sunshine in here this afternoon, partly cloudy skies. That's going to give way to sunnier days for your Thursday and Friday as we close out this work week. The other rainmaker that we've got, and this is what's going to spoil our weekend, it's now over the Midwest, heading down across the southeast. That's going to reach us by Saturday into Sunday, and a better chance for outdoor activity is your Saturday, because Sunday it's going to be more showers and thunderstorms, and the greater chance for that is on Sunday. So got a couple of hot days, although be it less humid days for your Thursday and your Friday. Again, we're up to 91 for today, kind of the same for Thursday and Friday, but less humid. That's the good news. And then we start to cool off with this cold front that's coming through over the weekend. That's good news as well. Get rid of the 90s for a few days, but then we're right back to more of a summer-like pattern after the weekend, after we get it out of here. So we're right back to there. A lot of schools starting here on this Monday. So the first day of school, you're looking at temperatures that are in the 80s, and then these are afternoon storms that will fire up with the heat of the day then. Tyler?
Doug, can I go back to something you said just about 30 seconds ago?
I don't know.
It's going to cool off. Cold front's going to come through. It's going to cool off. I feel like less hot would be the right way of phrasing that, because 80, 86 degrees, that's still warm by any stretch of the imagination.
Where did you grow up, man?
South Florida. It's even worse than this.
Come on. You're telling me that 80 degrees is not cooler to a Florida boy?
I'm telling you, and I also lived in Arizona for 5 years.
The water temperature in Arizona is like 80 degrees.
Whatever
Trying
you
to bust
say.
my chops. I'm not having it today, Tyler Finger.
You need to. Doug Evans, always appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us. Do appreciate it. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're going to see how Georgia is making sure our smallest citizens are ready for pre-K. We're back in just 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Wednesday afternoon. The time now is 1:19. So we know back to school time is happening right now, depending what county you are in here in North Georgia. And thousands of Georgia families are getting ready for the new school year. And that also includes the state's youngest students who are preparing for a big milestone, heading to pre-K. And Georgia's nationally recognized pre-K program is entering its 34th year. And joining us now is Georgia Department of Early Care and Learning Commissioner Amy Jacobs. Commissioner Jacobs, thanks so much for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
So we love to talk with you. I've talked with you a number of times on Fox 5, and let's start here. So obviously pre-K is a vitally important time for students. What should families be aware of as these kids are heading to class for the first time?
Well, I hope they're very excited and preparing for a great school year, which we know is going to get their student ready for kindergarten. But, I think some really simple steps. Obviously, please go to your open house, meet your teachers, let your student meet their lead teacher and their assistant teacher, get a chance to see their classroom, and just get familiar with how they're going to enter the building on that first day. And then, of course, get excited about what your first day of school outfit's going to be. If you need a new backpack or maybe a water bottle or a lunchbox, this is just a really exciting time for these students, and we want parents and students to be prepared and excited for that very first day.
I mean, that first outfit is always vitally important for parents. They want the picture. They want to be able to have them hold up that little sign that says, like, my first day, and you can write pre-K, and then I'm excited for X, Y, and Z. I'm sure the kids are probably not excited for anything because they have to leave home. I know I was not excited for pre-K all those years ago. But for a lot of these kids, it's going to be the first time they've ever been in a classroom. What should parents realistically expect when it comes to these first few weeks?
It's definitely going to be an adjustment, but we have such well-qualified teachers that are ready to go with these students on the first day. They're going to get them used to the classroom experience, to daily routines, to working well with their other peers. So, and it's great for parents to reinforce that at home. This is a schedule you're going to do Monday through Friday, what time we're going to get there, how I'm going to pick you up, what you can expect for lunchtime. That's always an exciting time. You're going to go outside with your friends. You're going to get to read stories and do math and science and reading, but it's going to really feel like play to these kids. They're going to come home, and I think they're going to be really energized from what they've learned during their school day.
And the great thing about this is Georgia has a nationally recognized pre-K program. So this is there's a lot there. It's not just having a good time. It's about learning and having the building blocks, if you will, for their future, because obviously K through 12 is then in their future over the course of the next 18, they're 4 or 5, so what, 12, 13 years or so. Yes. But I want to mention this because my producer Marcy mentioned it. She says Georgia has the 9th best early education system in America, according to a Wallet Hub study. So what has Georgia done to be able to make this program so successful?
We are so fortunate in Georgia that we have had Georgia Pre-K for 34 years. It is in every county in Georgia. You can choose a classroom in a public school or even in a private childcare, and we have really high quality standards, which Georgia has been recognized for just this last year. It's about low class sizes, well-qualified teachers, high quality curriculum, all things like that are really important for setting that strong foundation for our youngest learners in Georgia Pre-K. And even our research shows that these students, they make really large gains from the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year. Their teachers see it, their parents are going to see it, and their kindergarten teachers are going to know those children that went to Georgia Pre-K when they open those kindergarten doors the next year.
And just quickly, how has the Georgia Lottery been such a vital help to being able to make this pre-K program in the state so successful?
Well, I cannot say enough kudos to the Georgia Lottery. They have been great funders. They are our fund source. So they make this program absolutely free for 4-year-old students who sleep in Georgia. And so they have been successful, which has helped to make our Georgia Pre-K program successful for 34 years.
And if you have just one thing to mention to parents, just very quickly, what is that message for them as their students head off to school and off to pre-K?
Just be excited and know that they are going to have a great experience and be willing to hear their stories when they get home that first day.
Commissioner Amy Jacobs, thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. I appreciate your time, and obviously it's going to be a fun time as these students head off. I do appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
And as we continue on here, I want to talk about, as we continue on the education beat here, so artificial intelligence is already changing healthcare. Now, Georgia Tech is hoping to speed up the next wave of medical breakthroughs. They've created a new research center, and our Maria Guzman is getting all the details on that. Maria, this sounds super innovative, obviously vitally important as technology mixes with healthcare.
It is. And you know what's really cool is that this is going to be under the College of Science. Now, Georgia Tech doesn't have a School of Medicine, but yet they're tapping into this field. So basically, they're going to be using AI to prevent, predict, and even treat diseases. This is a whole new initiative. Right now, we're in the last week of summer here, so students are going to be back here in about a month, and they're going to be coming back to this really new cool initiative. And I got a chance to speak with the lead researcher, and he just talked about how it's really going to push forward the field of medicine here. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
There are still
So we're going to go ahead and hear from him in a bit, but just something really cool and how the students are already being involved is that they already hired a student. So he's under the process of that, and they mentioned that a lot of these students are very passionate about the science. School, so they're really excited about that too. And also, Tyler, one cool thing is, remember, it's AI, so everything is through a computer. It's all technology, so they don't really have a building in place for this. It's all going to be done through computers, and this is going to be part of students here and also teachers. So it's going to really bring in together staff and also the students who want to explore this new center.
Yeah, unfortunately, those technical difficulties with the soundbite from Dr. Jeffrey. Just quickly, before we let you go, anything struck you about what you heard him talk about? I know you joined us during the 11 o'clock hour as well.
You know, what really struck me is that this is happening here at Georgia Tech, but they have a feeling that this is going to be going even outside of the school campus. It's going to really expand their reach, right? So they're really fascinated about what can happen once this is all. It's all in stages, so they're going to start in stage 1 with some new things that are going on there, and then they hope to increase that as the school year goes on. So a lot of exciting things here.
Maria Guzman, thanks so much for joining us. I do appreciate it, and hopefully in the next hour when you join us, we can actually hear from the professor about what they're doing. I do appreciate your time, Maria. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. From tech to UGA, Georgia researchers have a surprising study on where food gaps are across the state. We're going to talk about it next in just 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Wednesday afternoon. The time now is 1:30. We're so glad you're here. As we continue on, we want to talk about something. It certainly grabbed my attention, I'll tell you, when we got the news release in our email earlier this week, and it has to do with food insecurity. So a new study that was done by the University of Georgia found that we obviously know it mainly affects lower income communities. That's what we normally would think. But new research from the University of Georgia suggests that's not always the case. And joining us now is Jerry Shannon, Associate Professor at UGA's Franklin College of Arts and Sciences, and to explain why some of Metro Atlanta's wealthier areas may actually have the biggest gaps in access to food assistance. Dr. Shannon, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Tyler.
So, I mean, truly, this news release came through in our email earlier this week, and I clicked on it, and it actually got me thinking, because obviously you would, a lot of times I've talked to food banks, they say it's the lower income people sometimes are the ones who are coming for help. But your guys' research is kind of turning that on its head, just have ease of access, essentially. What can you tell us about what you found?
Well, I would say, certainly low-income households often are facing food insecurity, and this study doesn't say anything that contradicts that in any way. The question is kind of where are we finding those households? And so certainly there are certain parts of the Atlanta metro area, particularly the southern half, that we know have lots of folks who are facing various kinds of economic hardships. And but the reality is there's also a lot of agencies there that are concentrating in those spaces to serve those households. So we did this study alongside Feeding Georgia, which is a statewide anti-hunger organization, and the 9 regional food banks in the state to look at where is charitable food available. And what we found is because of those concentrations in low-income areas that were mixed or even high income, were really being underserved. We don't see the same number of agencies there because there's the assumption that the need isn't as great. And it's not, but there's still low-income households or households facing some kind of economic hardship in those places. And so there was a band basically from Cherokee County on down through Walton County, where we saw a need to increase presence, even though those aren't the lowest income areas of the metro.
So that's the north and northeast area of Metro Atlanta.
Yeah, kind of the north section. Yeah, we're kind of up on the north side of the perimeter, I would say, kind of tracing the north side of the perimeter.
Well, and so what makes those communities different? Because obviously the people who are getting help are certainly people who are maybe in lower income, people who might need extra assistance beyond just food stamps and things like that. What was it surprising to find out that the wealthier communities are the ones that they have a harder time accessing?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's other research that's out there on suburban poverty. We often think of poverty as being located in central cities, but the real challenge in some of these areas where they might be predominantly middle or high income, but if you are lower income or facing some kind of economic shock, a health crisis, or you lose your job, things like transportation become really more crucial because you don't live in an area with easy access to busing or transit. Or if resources are tight, we know that households have to face trade-offs between paying the rent, paying for gas, paying for healthcare, and paying for food. And so even getting to a food pantry where the food might be free might cost gas. And that might be not something that you have the money to spend on that month because you've got other things that you're having to make sure happen, like having a roof over your head.
Are there any practical solutions to be able to kind of fill the gap? I mean, obviously it comes to mind for me, like those mobile food pantries and things like that.
Right. I would say that's certainly one of the solutions, right? We think of getting food to where people are, if there are these kinds of gaps available. And one of the strategies that food pantries often use are mobile food pantries, doing these mobile food distributions. Another solution, though, some places have tried in both urban and rural areas is getting people to where the food is. So sometimes it can be challenging to get food to a particular location. But if you can use shuttles or you give people vouchers for a rideshare service, they can then get to where there's a well-resourced pantry. Because even with mobile food pantries, there's issues around communication, people knowing when they're going to be open, where they're going to be. And that's a challenge when you have this confederation of agencies, this group of agencies that are all volunteer run and are just trying to keep things moving. They don't always have the luxury of being able to do really strategic planning and outreach ahead of time.
For people who may not think they qualify, what is your message to them if they're struggling and they do need help and they're maybe in some of these communities?
Well, I would say, a lot of food pantries have very little in the way of restrictions. And so and for the most part, I think the staff and volunteers that work there are trying to create a welcoming atmosphere. There's not a lot of shame or stigma attached to it. And there really is a lot of capacity to do this outreach. A lot of groups work really hard to make sure that there's food available. So I would certainly say take a look around, talk to some local agencies, talk to churches or other houses of worship, and try to see what resources are available in your area.
Dr. Jerry Shannon from UGA, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. Obviously, a vitally important topic, and the research you guys are doing obviously is important to be able to show the need in our different communities, and hopefully changes can be made to be able to help people who maybe are in need of these types of resources in other communities than maybe people would normally think about. Dr. Jerry Shannon, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And as we continue on here, we're going to switch topics a little bit and talk about a former UGA player, an NFL rookie, who is getting high praise for his generosity. And the story is going viral online after a woman decided to tell the world about it. You're looking at the image that is going viral right now. I want to bring in from the Fox 5 Sports team, my good friend Georgia Chambers. And Georgia, you got to talk with them. And so obviously this is a great story.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook, first of all, and she just went to the grocery store. Tyler, we know that groceries are very expensive, right? So she was putting all of her groceries on the belt, and he came up, and she said he was a very large individual. She's being kind. He's like 300 pounds, over 6 feet, and all he had was a bag of shrimp. So she tried to be kind and say, hey, go ahead. And he puts his shrimp down. He said, I'll take all of it. And she kind of tries to argue with him, and she's like, no, please don't do it. And he said, my mama taught me, always do good deeds like this. Please don't block a blessing. And so he paid for her groceries. She didn't even know who he was until somebody behind her was like, do you know who that is? Like that's Saints rookie Christian Miller. So she ran out, got this picture with him, and I had a chance to talk to her earlier today. And I feel like this is a great opportunity for people to learn from this. And this is what she had to say about what people could learn from Christian's good deed.
There are still kind humans in this world. You see a lot of just negativity just everywhere. And the fact that, and I found out that he's so young, I'm twice his age. And the fact that he's so young, an athlete, and he's about to start his professional career, that he took the time to just take a moment and reflect on what he had been taught growing up. Just how amazing someone so young with, to have such a positive and great attitude to someone he doesn't even know.
And I want to mention too, so Christian Miller, they had to report to training camp this week. It's one of the busiest weeks out of the year for him, and he's a rookie, so he has a lot to prove with the Saints organization, but he took time out of his day to buy her groceries, made her day, and is leaving already such a great impact on the Saints organization and the community. I love to see this.
Small acts of kindness can go a long way. The fact that she just was at the grocery store, didn't expect anything like this, and it wasn't like she even said that she needed help, but because of just the circumstance of how it happened, he wanted to pay for it. Obviously, if he's playing for a team, he has some money to be able to do good things, and it's nice to see that he is doing good with the success he's been able to obtain.
Exactly, and she went on to say she's not the biggest Saints fan. Obviously, she didn't know who Christian Miller was before that day, but she went on to say that from this day forward, she's going to be a huge Christian Miller fan, and she's going to be cheering him on from her living room.
It makes me feel good that there are people like that, because sometimes when you meet people who are a celebrity or famous in some way or have some notoriety, they're not as nice as you'd expect.
Exactly.
The fact that clearly he was raised right to want, as he said, his mom, he wanted to do good. That just makes you feel like it makes your heart happy.
Well, and I think for Leslie, having him do this for her, it just puts her in a good mood and makes her realize it doesn't take much for you to be kind to somebody. So now, she might get the bug to do something nice for some other people. You see people do it all the time in drive-thrus.
Yeah.
So it's like Christian did this to Leslie. Leslie might do this for somebody else, and I feel like in today's day and age, there's a lot of negativity spreading. So just to do something kind to turn somebody's day around really can mean the most.
All you have to do is pay it forward, be kind to one another.
It comes back around.
Georgia Chambers, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Wednesday afternoon. The time now 1:41. We're so glad you're here. It is time now to check in with one of our digital content creators to see what's trending on fox5atlanta.com and our Fox Local app. Janae C. Oliver joins us now. And Janae, it is good to see you. What do we have trending right now?
Nice to see you too, Tyler. Well, we're starting off with WellStar Health System is laying off nearly 800 employees across Georgia. That's about 2% of its total workforce. The cut impacts corporate, administrative, and shared services roles. WellStar says frontline care systems are not affected, and patients shouldn't see any disruption to care.
So obviously, no one likes to hear about layoffs. We know WellStar has closed some hospitals in our area, so it'd be interesting to know the exact reasoning behind these layoffs, but we know healthcare can be kind of a difficult business sometimes for these different organizations. So understandably, people are clicking on that story. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the movie that has certainly caught a lot of people and has gone kind of, I guess, viral. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, The Odyssey. What can you tell us about where people can see it locally?
Yes, this is definitely a big year for cinema lovers, and Buford's Regal Mall of Georgia is screening Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey in true 70mm IMAX film. This must-see exclusivity makes it well worth the drive from anywhere in Georgia, but tickets for the rest of the week are very limited, with many showtimes sold out. More flexible showtimes open up August 3rd, so you've got to be quick because people are staying in the theaters this year. They're going to be gone.
Eventually, you'll have to see it on a streaming device, a streaming platform at some point, whichever one it will end up on. Another story that is certainly probably getting a lot of clicks because people want to know where they can get the deals because it's National Chicken Wing Day.
Yes, I'm not sure if I'm going to American Deli or Touchdown Wings, but regardless, we can all agree that Atlanta knows a thing or two about good wings. And National Chicken Wing Day has brought serious deals to the city. You can score 60-cent wings at Dave & Buster's, free wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, and buy one, get one free wings at Pizza Hut. It's definitely a time to dine out and save.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, obviously we live in Atlanta, but what is your favorite flavor or style of wings?
I can get down with the lemon pepper. I can get down with honey hot. I just love it all.
I will say, I'm a lemon pepper, and I just moved here to Atlanta about four and a half years ago, and I fell in love with it. There were so many good places. You mentioned American Deli. I love JR Crickets. Their lemon pepper wet wings are very good, and that's right near me, near Midtown. So I think maybe I have to do that for dinner. That would be a good dinner, I think.
Yes, definitely have to celebrate National Wing Day. I love it for the city.
And Janae, before we let you go, I just want to say this. You're one of our digital content creators here at Fox 5. This is your last day with us. I just found out about 15, 20 minutes ago. I am so sad. It has been great working with you.
It has been so much fun. You've made this so enjoyable, Tyler. I've had the time of my life.
And I'm so glad that you got to join us here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock multiple times a week to talk about what's trending. Because obviously you're one of our digital gurus up there, and Jameson Moyer is sitting right next to you. Joyce Lupiani is off for the last couple of weeks. She sits just to the left of you, screen left, and they've done a great job having you with us. And you guys always do a great job, and I really appreciate you joining us, Janae. And you're going to do so great, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
For the last time.
For the last time. Janae, thanks so much for joining us. And as we continue on here, the time now 1:45 on this Wednesday afternoon, I want to check in with our Eli Jordan because a local nonprofit is working to help people use food as medicine to benefit their health. And Eli is joining us live now with all the details. Hey, Eli.
Hey, Tyler. Yes, and real quick about the wings, Euclid Avenue Yacht Club in Little Five Points, they got really good jerky-yaki wings. Jerk and teriyaki. Yes, you should try it sometime. Super
of course,
good.
It's Little 5 Points with you.
Food. Oh yeah, everything. Yeah, exactly. It's the only place to hang out. But I'm here at Open Hand here in Atlanta, and Open Hand is a really, really cool spot. They work with hospitals, work with doctors. If you need to be on a better nutrition program to get your diabetes, cardiovascular system worked out, or high cholesterol, the doctor will say you need to eat better and provide you a food prescription. Well, that's what they provide here at Open Hand. And right now with me is a Christian Avra. Kristen, thank you very much for joining us. You're with the the nutrition program here.
Yes.
And where are we right now?
We are in our wonderful facility where we are actually packing our medically tailored meals. So behind me, we've got our wonderful brown rice pilaf, our Italian chicken. We've got some delicious roasted broccoli as well. So these are going to be our nutritious, balanced meals that we are home delivering to our clients at Open Hand.
And so, when we spoke about earlier about providing produce, free produce to deliver and all that, but this is like the next level, correct?
Exactly. So we have different programs, different clients that need different interventions, and so this is an example of an intervention where someone might not be able to cook. Maybe they have a hard time, standing in the kitchen. Maybe they have different chronic illnesses that require very specific nutrition recommendations, and that's where our meals come in, and they're able to heat them, eat them, enjoy them, not worry about them, not have all the cleanup, but enjoy something that's delicious and that's going to help them to manage their different chronic conditions or prevent chronic conditions as well.
And you guys deliver these as well, right?
Yes, so they don't even have to leave the house. We home deliver them right to you, so you don't have to worry about transportation, which is a big barrier for a lot of our clients.
And also, if I wanted to have some meals prepped for me, I could go to your website?
Yes, exactly. So we have, our meals are available at no cost to our Open Hand clients through different programs and funding, but at goodmeasuremeals.com, you can actually purchase these exact same meals, and for every 2 meals that is purchased through Good Measure, 1 is provided to an Open Hand client. So it's a really cool way that you can nourish yourself, nourish your family, and then nourish your community.
And what is the website again?
That's going to be goodmeasuremeals.com if you want to order some of these meals and have them delivered right to your door. And then to get involved with Open Hand, we are openhandatlanta.org.
Awesome, awesome. Well, this is really, really cool that you guys, I didn't realize these are cooked meals ready to just heat up. And
yep, we cook
go.
them right here in our kitchen in Atlanta, and then we freeze it and deliver it straight to your door. So it's ready to go. All you have to do is heat and eat. You can do that in the microwave or the oven, whatever you prefer.
Like a TV dinner, but a hell of a lot better.
Exactly. We have very high standards when it comes to nutrition. So we're looking at the sodium, we're looking at the fiber, the saturated fat, we're controlling the carbohydrates so that your blood sugars aren't spiking. We're looking at all these things to make sure you're staying heart healthy, you're managing different chronic conditions, and of course it's got to be delicious, because if it doesn't taste good, you're not going to eat it.
Right.
So we test our meals every single day, great benefit of the job, to make sure it's something that you will actually enjoy and it'll nourish the whole body.
Tell me the websites again real quick before we wrap up.
openhandatlanta.org, goodmeasuremeals.com.
Awesome. Kristen, Avra, thank you very much. And Tyler, maybe have to get online and order some of these meals, but nonetheless, this is good healthy eating, prescribed nutrition. And check out the website if you're interested. Back to you, Tyler.
That sounds good. Eli, Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. We'll check in with you a little bit later. Let's see if we can go to some breaking news that we just got confirmed within the last little bit. You're taking a look at what we just learned was a minor earthquake, and I'm going to say it. There was an earthquake here in Metro Atlanta today, but very minor. So this is what we know. We just got this confirmed with the National Geological Survey. So they say this morning a minor magnitude 2.3 earthquake rattled parts of Metro Atlanta near Lilburn. So the weak tremor occurred at 12:01 p.m., so just after noon, near Lilburn. Most people in the Metro Atlanta area likely did not feel any movement. Those standing near the epicenter may have noticed a faint vibration or sudden rumble similar to a heavy truck driving past, or a brief roll of thunder. And obviously, although Georgia does not sit along a major active tectonic plate boundary, minor fault lines run underneath the region. Our Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Alex Forbes notes that tiny, harmless quakes occur occasionally across the state, and the momentary tremor may have caused local pets to react or bark right after noon. Officials have not reported any structural damage, of course, or injuries related to this tremor, because it is so minor, and geologists have not indicated whether additional minor tremors are expected. But again, a very small magnitude 2.3 earthquake, about 4 kilometers deep or so. So that's somewhere around 2 miles below the surface, and it happened about 1.9 miles north of Lilburn, about 28 miles northeast of Atlanta. If you want more details, we have it on our website, fox5atlanta.com. Let's talk about this now. We know that pair of glasses can make a big difference in the classroom, but for many families, access to eye care remains a challenge. And today, Vision to Learn is celebrating a major milestone, providing more than 10,000 free eye exams at Georgia libraries. Our Chris Rosenthal is getting all the details on this, and he joins us live. Chris, this is obviously a fantastic thing that they're doing, and obviously it will be great ahead of the school year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, 10,000 eye exams across the Georgia libraries, and that amounts to about 7,000 free pairs of glasses for students. We all know healthcare and eyewear can be very expensive, so that's really, really a very big help for the parents. I've talked to some of the parents here. They say it's a huge help, and they come out to these locations like the DeKalb County libraries with these mobile vans. We got a couple of them here, and actually I have Zeke here. He's going to show us inside one of them here. And Zeke, tell me, first of all, about these vans. Tell me what, you guys can do everything in here, huh?
Yeah, we have a full optical equipment set up in order to be able to check the health of the eye as well as the vision, clear up their any issues they might have, send any information home to alert the parents if there's any questions. And in lucky occasions like at the library, we can actually have the doctors walk out and speak to the parents and kind of give them detailed information.
And if the students need glasses, they can pick out glasses here.
Yes, we have a wide selection of glasses for them in all types of sizes, so we can help anybody from 4 years old all the way up to 18. Plenty of options for each grade level. And they pick them out themselves. They get to choose the color they like, something that they're for sure going to wear, and then they get them in a month or so after the exam.
Why is this so important that kids get their eyes checked here?
So 1 in 4 kids need glasses. And in low-income areas or low accessibility areas, they don't have the time to make it there, the funds or the access to it. So we give them a one-stop shop where we take on that job. We give them a full eye exam, full health of the eye, and a pair of glasses, all locally where they're at. In fact, dropping them off where we can. In the library, we get to drop it off here where they visit regularly to be able to read their books and things like that. But they need it. 95% of those kids don't actually even have them. For those same barriers cause them issues, so we try and fill in where we can and serve where we can.
And it's not just getting that prescription, but sometimes you guys catch problems too.
Absolutely. So as you just saw, we've got a lot of optical equipment in there. We can catch a lot of issues, not only within the eye, but we can even find systemic body issues. We can find tumors sometimes. We find glaucoma, hypertension, diabetes, all kinds of issues that we can assess just by noticing something in the eye. And so we'll let the parent know, get them to the appropriate doctor to solve it.
And real quick, what's it like when you get to put the glasses on those kids?
That's the best part. I actually hate that I don't get to see that here at the libraries because we just give them to the librarians. The librarians will handle it from there. Hopefully they get to see it though, because I usually work in schools where I get to see them put them on for the first time, and it's something so remarkable you can't even express it. I mean, the ones who see, it's great. There's like, oh, I can see this, I can see that. But for me, it's the ones who don't say anything. The ones who are just suddenly all over the place with their eyes. It's remarkable.
Well, Zeke, thanks for joining us. So it's really cool. I've been to some of these events, and it's really cool when you see those kids get those glasses. They're wrapping up for the day here at South Cobb Library, but they'll be back in some of the Gwinnett County libraries. You can check on your local library websites to see if there's some Vision to Learn events near you that you can sign up for. For now, I'm DeKalb County. Chris Rosenthal, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, I absolutely love that they do things like this to be able to help people in our community, because it's not always easy to access it, especially if parents don't have time. Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much for joining us. We'll check in with you a little later on. And that is going to do it for us for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. I'm Tyler Finger, but don't go anywhere. At the top of the hour, Ariel Onstadt will be joining you with the latest headlines.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being here on your Thursday afternoon. Have to think about Wednesday afternoon. Have to think about what day it is, because after that torrential rain we experienced last night, I feel like we're all a little topsy-turvy thinking about the thunder and all of the inches of rain that we received. But here in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, we saw a bit milder version of what was experienced up north. I'm talking power outages, inches of rain falling in just a matter of a few hours. Our Larry Spruill is up in Gilmer County. Many in Ellijay without power and cell service, I understand, Larry. So what are you seeing there?
Well, good afternoon, Ariel. People here in Gilmer County are really feeling the wrath of Mother Nature all last night, even earlier this morning and this afternoon. Let me step out of the way so you can see one of the many spots that were hit very hard by the storms last night. You can see crews are working on parts of this road as it was shut down as heavy rains flooded this area last night and this morning. Now, the cleanup process is underway here in Gilmer County Wednesday because of the last night's storms. There are several power outages, trees down, and now several road closures. Now, this is video of a huge hole in the road at Zion Hill Road just up the street from here. You can see the large break roped off this afternoon. Now, I spoke with one neighbor who lives by here. He tells me last night's storms were intense.
And literally, I looked at my weather app, nothing. And then literally within a half hour, huge thunder, downpour, over 4 inches of rain, lots of wind. And so this morning did a little inspection. That's what I'm doing now. And power lines across the road. No power since 10:30 last night. Still no power.
And I've been in contact with GDOT leaders all this afternoon, and they were talking about that large hole in the road that we just showed you that video in this area right here. They said repairs will probably take at least 3 to 4 days. Now, also in this area, there is a water boil advisory for parts of Gilmer County here in this area as well. So a lot is going on as the people are starting this cleanup process from the strong storms from last night. Now, we're going through all of the information that we have from county leaders and officials, and I'll have another live report coming up today at 4 on Fox News. We are live in Gilmer County. I'm Larry Spruill, Fox 5 News.
Larry, thanks so much for the update. I can see crews hard at work behind you. Incredible just the amount of rain that was able to fall in such a short period of time. I mean, I normally sleep through storms, and I have to say, the one last night, it woke me up.
Yeah, me and you both, Ariel. Now, I was asleep as well, but you hear the thunder, you even see the lightning. I'm like, whoa, what is that? So I can only imagine what they were experiencing up here because they were hit the hardest, it seems like.
It definitely seems so. I know you're tracking the latest on power outages as they continue to work on this stretch of road, Highway 52 there in Gilmer County, and of course the latest on that boil water advisory because of the water main break. So Larry Spruill, thank you so much. We will see you again later this afternoon. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, let's talk about a scary situation that unfolded at a gas station. This happened overnight or early, just a little bit ago. A man was coming up to a woman. You can see actually from this video that we were able to get. Let's talk through it because it was a routine stop for gas that turned into a terrifying experience for a Marietta mother and her 2 children. Police say a shirtless man approached the family at a Shell station on Delk Road, became aggressive, and tried to grab the women's children. Take a listen to what police are saying about the situation.
This individual just started approaching the car, seeming to have a conversation with the woman while she was pumping her gas, minding her own business. He appears to charge at the car. He's trying to open the car doors. He's trying to pull the child out of the back seat. What is this individual capable of? What are they doing? Why are they trying to get in my own car? What are they doing trying to pull children out of the car?
Well, a warrant shows the woman told police the man said he had a gun, and video shows that young boy jumping out of the car like the officer described. The man tries to grab him, then runs around the car to pull another child out. Video then shows the mother fighting to keep him away while bystanders rush in to help, and someone calls 911. Now, the man, his name is Jerron Tucker, got in his car and tried to leave, but officers stopped and arrested him. He's now facing charges including kidnapping, simple assault, and possession of a controlled substance. A teen has also been arrested now in a double homicide at a popular trail in DeKalb County. DeKalb County police have arrested a 15-year-old in the shooting deaths of two men found at Doll's Head Trail. Officers responded to a shots fired call originally in the early morning hours of last Friday, July 24th, and they found two men shot to death in the parking lot there. Later, police identified the victims as 27-year-old Andres Pedro Baltazar and 23-year-old Tomas Pascual Cano. Because of the teen's suspect's age, police are not releasing his name at this time. He's facing 2 counts of malice murder, as well as possession of a pistol by a minor and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Police have not released any motive. When we get more information, we will keep you updated. Let's talk about a scary situation that unfolded at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. We're learning more about a near collision. This scary incident unfolded around 11 p.m. Monday night. FAA says 2 Delta jets nearly collided, and federal officials are now investigating. Delta Flight 2472 was bound for Rochester, New York, and was taking off from Atlanta's airport. And that's when it crossed in front of a Delta Flight 1568, arriving from Pittsburgh. The pilot of Flight 1568 conducted a go-around maneuver because another plane was reportedly too slow to clear the runway when Flight 2472 crossed in front of it as it was taking off. Both aircraft triggered cockpit alerts after coming too close. That shows just how narrow this miss was. And I'd like to let you listen to audio we have of the air traffic control showing this encounter.
Delta 2472, turn right heading 360, climb and maintain 4,000.
Right turn 360 up to 4,000 for Delta 2472.
Affirmative, 4,000.
4,000 copy, 340 on the heading, Delta 2472.
Delta 911 coming, departure, farewell.
Delta 1568 going around.
68, turn right heading 360, climb and maintain 4,000.
Right, 360. Delta 2472 responding RA.
Scary moments. Air traffic controllers commanded the departing plane to turn and ultimately climb away, which it was intending to do. Delta says it's cooperating with federal authorities in its investigation to figure out how all of this unfolded. Meantime, I want to tell you that Wellstar is planning to lay off some nearly 800 employees here. Wellstar says that it's making these plans amid the current market predicament. According to a statement, the layoffs affect 761 employees. The number is 2% of Wellstar's workforce, which is more than 35,000 employees, the company says. Wellstar is a Georgia-based company and says it's reducing its workforce after a review of the organization. The layoffs affect employees in corporate and shared services and certain administrative jobs. The company emphasized that frontline care team roles are not part of these layoffs. According to Wellstar, the reductions were based on comparing industry standards. Wellstar has not said when these layoffs are going to go into effect, and they've not specified whether or not employees are going to receive severance packages or job placement services. It's unclear from their statement which departments will experience the most cuts. They did not name the specific industry standard that has led to these layoffs, but we will keep you updated as we get any new information. Let's take you out to Gwinnett County now. I want to talk a little bit more about their 911 dispatch system. They are instituting a new priority system, and our Eric Perry went out to speak with the director. Eric, it is great to see you out live. What are they sharing with you, and how are they hoping to save lives with this system?
Yeah, so it's still the same 911 center, but when you call in and you have a specific fire response or an emergency that requires the response from the fire department, there will be specific questions that they will ask you now. And these questions won't hold up any time from management or any responses coming to you, but they want to make sure that they're sending the appropriate response in there. So earlier today, we got a chance to go inside this very busy and bustling 911 center. Anywhere from 25 to 30 people answering any call that will come into the county lines, no matter if you're in Lilburn or Doraville, no matter where you are in the Gwinnett County diaspora here, such a large county it is. Those calls come right through here, and those very trained and operated, those operators that will call those lines there will answer those phone calls. But again, this is for the fire response. Take a listen to Michelle Miller, who is the director there at the communication center here for the 911 center, as she walks through what implemented this new change that is soon to come.
It provides a standardized set of questions and instructions that call takers can provide and ask during calls for fire service. It levels the playing field. If you call in, you get a call taker previously that had 20 years of experience, they may not know to ask the same thing of somebody that's had 2 years of experience. And this gives that knowledge base to everyone. These questions don't slow things down. A lot of times people who call 911 think that, oh, they're asking me a lot of questions, they're not sending help. That's not the case. When that call taker is talking to them, they're gathering information and somebody else is sending the fire department. So asking these questions do not slow down responses. It just helps make sure that the proper responses are sent.
Yeah, so this is a very busy 911 center. Within the year, they get about 700,000 calls coming in. So again, this is all to help. So if you're calling in for a fire-specific response, they can get the right response to you, get that help going. And again, these questions are not slowing down the response time. They have several people working. So as someone is asking you these questions, they already have someone on the way. So it's all getting help and the right help to you quicker, faster, to help you in your emergencies, Ariel.
Eric, such a good way of going about it, considering how she explained. You know, you may have so much experience on the job that informs you of, hey, here are some questions that would be good to ask someone. But for someone new on the job, maybe they don't have that same experience to know. And so this offers a standardized approach so everyone gets the same response regardless of someone's level of experience.
Yeah, level of experience, and these questions are used in emergencies, not just across the country, but she told me they're used universally around the world. So it's a uniform response here that they're able to do. And again, just as you said, you know, someone coming in with 2 years of experience going up someone 20 years, that person with 2 years of experience, they are still qualified and trained. They go through a year of training in a classroom, and then they get partnered with on-the-job training with someone as well. But again, it's one of those things, just kind of how in broadcast news here, someone starting off might not be on the same level or have the same expertise as someone who has been in the job for 10, 15 years. So, and make sure everyone is asking those same questions to get that help, to make sure everyone is safe at the end of the day.
I like the analogy, Eric. I see what you're doing there. So I appreciate you. We're going to see you again later this evening. So if someone's just now tuning in and wants to know more about what this looks like, you'll have another report upcoming here. So Eric Perry, I'll let you get back to information gathering, but thanks so much for joining us live. And guys, as we continue here, as always, I just want to reiterate, we've got some chats going on TikTok, YouTube. I work to keep an eye on those. So if you have any questions about the stories that we're covering today, feel free to drop a comment or a question. And if you want to see a story covered that we haven't talked about today, feel free to drop it in the chat and I'll work to work it in. So here, let's talk a little bit about this next story that has garnered a lot of attention, rather. We understand Colt Gray will now be spending the rest of his life in prison. And today, his father, Colin Gray, is expected to face his sentencing hearing. We will keep you updated when Colin Gray faces the courtroom. We have not learned any new details about this dismiss or excuse me tomorrow. See, I have my days all mixed up. I keep thinking today is Thursday, but today is Wednesday, you guys. So tomorrow, Colt Gray's father, will face the courtroom for his sentencing. In the meantime, let's take you back to yesterday, where Colt Gray faced the courtroom and learned his fate, because ultimately he is going to spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole. A Barrow County judge handed down one of the harshest sentences possible for the gunman who opened fire at Apalachee High School in 2024. 16-year-old Colt Gray sat and pled guilty to 55 charges on Friday, leading to a lengthy sentencing hearing which lasted 3 days. We heard from witnesses, those affected by the tragedy, and Barrow County Chief Judge Nicholas Primm ultimately sentenced Colt Gray to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murders of Mason Skirmerhorn, Christian Angulo, both 14 years old when this happened, as was Colt when this happened, and teachers Ricky Aspinwall and Christina Aramy. I'd like to let you listen to part of what the judge had to say in making his decision.
You aren't racked with guilt. You're proud of yourself. Less than a month after the tragedy, you weren't concerned with the horror you wrought, but rather with finding out which mass murderers they were comparing you to. A youth may fail to consider the harm his rash actions inflict before acting, but you did consider it. You studied that pain when you researched the trials of your profane idols. You contemplated that pain over and over. This wasn't transient immaturity. It was deliberate, contemplated evil. You are all too aware of the court outcome of those mass shootings because you studied and obsessed over them. You know that the Aurora Theater shooter received life without parole. Nicholas Cruz received life without parole. Ethan Crumley, a juvenile, received life without parole. Yet you were not dissuaded. Your plan was not hastily hatched. It was a slow boil simmering more than a year's time. You savored the thought of it, you visualized it, and you fantasized about it. You broke it down step by step in visualizing what you were going to do. The thought of mimicking these other mass murders is what brought you joy. Now, for the rest of us, there is no joy here today. There's only a measure of closure. The slain will not return to life, the injured will not forget their wounds, and a 16-year-old boy will live and die in prison.
A district attorney, Brad Smith, warned parents and the community that online true crime groups, or true crime groups in general, lack ideology politically and are driven purely by nihilism and the desire to cause pain. He urged families to monitor what their children post on social media and display in their bedrooms, and immediately remove access to firearms if concerning behavior appears. Smith did add that prosecutors did not charge Gray's mother because she lacked physical custody, lived in the county for only 3 months over 2 years, and did not supply the gun used in the crime. Gray's father was tried separately after supplying that weapon, and ultimately we will learn his fate tomorrow during his sentencing. Let's talk a little bit about a ex-Atlanta official who asked President Trump for clemency. We're talking about Mitzi Bickers, the former City of Atlanta Director of Human Services. She was serving under former Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed, and she was denied clemency back on July 10th. Now, President Donald Trump has denied that clemency request. She served as the City of Atlanta's Director of Human Services and eventually became one of nearly a dozen people convicted in a sweeping federal probe into corruption during the Reed administration. The investigation revealed that Bickers accepted roughly $3 million in bribes in exchange for helping contractors secure about $17 million in city work, including bridge repairs, snow removal, and sidewalk projects. Following these discoveries, Bickers was indicted in 2018 and became the first individual in the corruption probe to stand trial. In 2022, a jury found her guilty of 9 of 12 charges, rejecting 3 counts related to bribery and tampering with an informant. She was ultimately ultimately convicted on 3 counts of money laundering, 1 count of conspiracy to commit bribery, among other counts. Now, she was ordered to pay nearly $3 million and received a 14-year prison term. She received the longest term, and in August of 2024, appeals court upheld her core convictions but dropped the wire fraud counts. This change came after prosecutors moved to dismiss the wire fraud charges, which were once central to the case, after a U.S. Supreme Court ruling narrowed the scope of federal wire fraud laws. Since the wire fraud counts were dropped, the case was sent back to district court for resentencing, and last year a federal judge resentenced her to 12 years in prison for her remaining convictions. Ultimately, she will now continue to serve those years in prison, and she was resentenced in 2025, so she still has roughly 10 years of prison left to serve. Let's talk about what's unfolding on Capitol Hill. We understand that Dr. Fauci is being grilled by senators over his pandemic response during the COVID-19 outbreak. Dr. Anthony Fauci was the infectious disease specialist who led the nation's response to the COVID-19 pandemic under the Biden administration. He was on Capitol Hill today, where he refused to answer any of the questions over the origins of the virus and contradictions in his public messaging at the time. His appearance comes after Republican Senator Rand Paul released more than 1,000 pages from Fauci's personal diary from the pandemic years, where he admitted some of his COVID mandates were not working. But ultimately, what we heard today was, I respectfully decline to answer. That's pretty much all that Dr. Fauci had to say during this contentious Senate hearing. He invoked the Fifth Amendment 111 times, and committee chairman Rand Paul tried to ask about funding gain-of-function research at a lab in Wuhan, China, and other biolabs, but every question was met with the same answer. Fauci saying he respectfully declines based on his Fifth Amendment rights, and then Paul saying that it's against the law to obstruct an investigation of Congress, and there would be repercussions to his refusal to testify. During Dr. Fauci's brief opening statement, he accused Paul of being obsessed with seeing him charged over his pandemic response. Take a listen.
I proved that I believe in and respect the value of legitimate congressional oversight. In fact, I testified before and/or briefed Senate and House Senate and House committees well over 200 times over those 38 years. During and after the COVID pandemic, however, given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative branch of government and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
Can you explain to the committee why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
A sense of how that hearing went from some of those exchanges. Over the weekend, like Dr. Fauci discussed, Rand Paul released Fauci's detailed diary from the pandemic years, where he, Dr. Fauci, appeared thrilled with the public attention he was getting, but also admitted some COVID mandates like school closures, lockdowns, and masks were doing little to stop the spread of the virus. Democrats in the hearing were mostly supportive of Fauci invoking his Fifth Amendment right not to answer questions, even though Fauci received a protective pardon from former President President Biden before he left office. Let's talk about the latest unfolding in the Middle East, because at this point, the pause in fighting is now over. After 4 relatively quiet days, Iran has launched a surprise attack on U.S. forces in the Middle East. CENTCOM says all the incoming missiles were accepted, and President Trump is saying that Iran is, quote, going to get a beating. Ultimately, the attack comes as Iran has rejected the latest ceasefire proposal from Oman, which called for joint control over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran claims that the proposal did not address their national security concerns. On Wednesday, Iran says it attacked 3 tankers trying to pass through the strait, raising questions about whether or not this diplomatic process is really working. Now, President Trump is reportedly close to widening the war, hoping to bring Iranians back to the negotiating table. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia also struck Iran-backed militias that have targeted U.S. forces and the Saudis. Coming up, you guys, taking a look at our timing, I want to bring you closer to home to talk a little bit about our weather forecast with meteorologist Doug Evans. We're going to talk about the heat today, what we are expecting in terms of the temperatures here to come straight ahead. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thank you so much for being live with us here on our Wednesday afternoon. We heard a lot with those storms last night. It was loud. Parts of North Georgia were absolutely pummeled by the rain and the wind. And now things are calmer. What does North Georgia weather have in store for us? It is hot right now. Meteorologist Doug Evans shares the latest.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Listen, if you've stepped outside, you know already that it's hot and it's humid, downright muggy. Our current humidity is in the tropical range outside, so it is very, very soupy. There's good news in our forecast. We're going to get rid of this humidity over the next couple of days, and it's going to be more in what we would determine as the comfy level for Thursday and Friday. That's thanks to drier, cooler air that's on its way on the backside of that frontal system that came through overnight and fired up those those storms. There's that drier air moving in. This becomes a stationary front then, parked in South Georgia, still firing up some storms that way. So if you're headed down to the beach or whatever, might drive through some weather as you head down south. But for the most of us, we're going to have partly cloudy skies today, much improved. The drier air does not reach us until this evening, and so we can expect that we're going to have some drier air in here and some cooler temperatures. Listen, right now it's 84 degrees in Atlanta, 92, 93 in Milledgeville. It's crazy out there. It's going to get up to nearly 100 degrees in the southeastern part of our area today. Not so for the rest of us. We're talking low 90s for today. There you go. Lots of sunshine out there. Temperatures in the low 90s, even up in Dalton, 91 degrees. Blairsville at 85 this afternoon. Then overnight, that's going to be much improved because we're going to get that drier air in here. We see our temperatures kind of dive back down into the more normal range for the end of July, and that's going to be a much pleasanter evening. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up with temperatures that are in the 60s or the 70s and that humidity is lower, that's going to be a nice time to be outside for your morning hours. Maybe you walk, maybe you jog, or whatever. You're outside biking in the morning. That should be a lot more pleasant. So here we go in our hour by hour. All that rain moves out. Drier air moves in. That's going to affect our cloud cover. We get rid of some clouds as well. Partly cloudy for this afternoon. A little bit sunnier than for tomorrow. Here's our next rainmaker. It's back over just outside Nashville, western Tennessee and central Tennessee. They've had quite a summer with rain. That continues today as well and into the weekend. As that system moves then, that's coming our way for Saturday and Sunday. 40% chance for rain on Saturday, 70% chance for rain on Sunday. Listen, enjoy the next couple of days. Yes, it's hot. It's in the 90s, but it's going to be less humid. So those morning hours, those evening hours, those are going to be prime for getting outside. Listen, Saturday and Sunday, we're down into the 80s. That's a little bit of relief, right? But the humidity is back up as we get these systems in here and we fire up some more thunderstorms, especially on Sunday. Backside of that, we're a little bit cooler, and then we get back into our more summertime, more seasonable weather there for the start of that work week. Also, the start of school for a lot of kids. Monday, August 3rd, we can expect 87 degrees, some afternoon thunderstorms, and a 40% chance for rain. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
All right, Doug, thanks so much. As you're taking a live look there towards downtown, midtown area, from downtown into midtown, it is quite warm, but listen, some temperatures below the 90s, sign me up. I will take that. Let's talk about what the Atlanta Track Club is doing, because the nonprofit behind the Peachtree Road Race wants to construct Atlanta's first indoor track facility, track and field facility at Cheney Stadium. The Atlanta Track Club is proposing a 175,000 square foot multi-purpose center in the Summerhill neighborhood. The proposed complex would feature a 200-meter hydraulic competition oval, a STEM center for students, and a health and wellness center, as well as a community space. Olympians trained at Cheney Stadium for the 1996 Summer Games. Gold medalist Gail Devers trained on the track before winning her 100-meter title, and local runners wonder why the city currently lacks an indoor facility despite its Olympic history. The Track Club wants to begin construction within the next 18 months and finish by the end of 2029. It remains unconfirmed whether Atlanta Public Schools, which owns the land, will formally approve this proposal. The Atlanta Track Club plans to pay for the facility through private donations, tax credits, and commercial marketing partnerships without relying on any city funds. Ultimately, Atlanta Track Club would operate the center, and organizers are hosting community features feedback meetings to gather input, with the next public meeting set for August 12th at 6:30 in the evening at King Middle School. So again, that's August 12th at 6:30 at King Middle School if you'd like to make your voice heard on that. Guys, coming up here, we are going to take you out live to talk about a new lab or research center that Georgia Tech has launched, and they're using AI to fuel medical discoveries. Our Maria Guzman's going to show us how straight ahead. Great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Let's talk about a new research center that Georgia Tech is launching. And this is helping to move AI-powered discoveries forward. Ultimately, they're trying to translate these discoveries into real-world patient care. Our Maria Guzman joins us live to talk about some of this. So, Maria, thanks so much for being here. What is their goal, and how are they even doing this?
Hey, Ariel, yes, this is very new. I mean, just think about how in just a few weeks, students are going to be back in this campus and they're going to be returning to this really cool new AI research hub, right? So they're going to be using AI for three main goals. That's to predict, to prevent, and treat certain diseases. So I actually got to chat with the lead researcher behind this effort on how they're going to be using AI, and also how students are already playing a role in this program. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Wouldn't it be great if AI could look at you, look at your genetics, look at your blood, identify what are the physiological changes, and recommend to the doctor, for this particular patient, these are the conditions they're likely to have, and oh, by the way, here's a prioritized list of things for them you're willing to try. Now, if it's the standard of care, you don't need AI. I mean, you know, you have a sore throat, you get azithromycin, and you're cured. But what if you have something more complicated, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, autoimmune diseases? These are very complicated diseases that unfortunately are managed, not fixed. Hopefully the goal of AI is to fix it, okay? You want it to be like your sore throat. I take this in the morning, and 2 days later, my throat is gone and I feel great. Right now, you have high cholesterol. You're on a cholesterol med to the day that you die. Yeah. Hopefully not from a heart attack.
Yeah.
Hopefully AI can suggest to you what might actually be a curative treatment. So the research center is a research effort. So I have some extraordinarily talented undergraduates, mostly CS majors, some biology majors who want to do CS. They are developing the tools to actually make this dream, and it is a dream, a reality. And it's going to happen in stages. It's not going to happen instantaneously. And so, we have, now we just recently recruited a new undergraduate, a freshman who's very excited. Georgia Tech has some very talented, exceptionally talented students who want to help change the world of medicine.
And Ariel, what's really cool, which is I didn't think that this was possible, but Professor is going to focus on creating virtual models of human cells, and he's going to use those virtual models to really study how diseases work and find better ways to treat certain diseases like the ones he talked about. And also, just something to note as well is that Georgia Tech doesn't have a school of medicine, so this program's going to be under the College of Science, but they're very interested in tapping into the care field as well.
Maria, absolutely fascinating. Love to see AI being put to use in this way to help save lives. And it's interesting to think about how this could have ramifications down the line. I know some people here in our chat are talking about how this could change our health insurance too, potentially. So no, we're not there yet, but all things to think about as we see how AI can ultimately power discoveries and helping us to be healthier and better versions of ourselves. So Maria, thank you. We will see you again here upcoming at 3 o'clock. I appreciate you. But speaking about becoming better versions of ourselves, let's talk about one organization that's offering free eye exams and glasses just in time for kids going back to school. Chris Rosenthal joins us live where Vision to Learn is doing these mobile eye exams. Chris, it sounds loud out where you're at, but hopefully a lot of families are getting the exams that they need.
Oh, yeah, they've had a great turnout here today at South Cobb Library. About 33 or so kids came through here and got eye exams, and some of them even got to pick out some glasses, and they'll be back in about a month or so to pick those up. They're celebrating a bit of a milestone here. About 10,000 or so eye exams Vision to Learn has done in their partnerships with the libraries in Metro Atlanta since 2018. It's about 7,000 or so glasses, all free for these students. And they have it's really cool. They have these mobile vans, these vans that you see here. They brought out both of these, one there and one here, and they have everything that they need inside. And I have Zeke here from Vision to Learn, and well, tell me first of all, these vans. What do we have inside of these things here?
We have a full clinical setup for an eye exam. We've got the pre-testing area for the tech at the front. We've got a full diagnostic area for the doctors at the back. They can do a full eye exam comprehensive and get the kiddos what they need. If they need an eye exam, if they need an eye exam and they pass, great. But if they need glasses, we'll give them that too.
Yeah, and they get to pick out their glasses too. That kind of makes it fun for them, huh?
It makes it phenomenal for them. We think that the kid picking out the glasses is the best part, because they're going to like them, they're going to wear them, and so we let them pick out. We've got an assortment of glasses for all grades and all ages.
Why is this so important, especially with costs these days? I mean, why is it so important for these families?
Cost is bad enough, but there's a lot that comes into it. You got to take time off of your work day. You've got to visit a doctor. You've got to set up an appointment. There's a lot of barriers to it. With Vision to Learn and our model, we come to you. We come to your local libraries. We come to your schools, and we can see you at that point. One-stop shop. You've got everything you need inside of there. We don't have to send you anywhere else or hope that you can make it somewhere else. We'll take care of it all.
And the glasses here. How many kids end up walking away needing glasses?
We have probably about 80% of our kids that do an eye exam need glasses. I can tell you that even with that, even some of the ones that don't need glasses, we can still check and figure out that they might have some other kind of health situation or concern that we can kind of not diagnose, but at least question and refer out. So sometimes we even catch those things, even if they don't need glasses. It's worth the eye exam.
Do you find that some of these kids may not have even realized that they have problems?
Most of them don't. I mean, when you can't see, you don't know you can't see. That's just how you live your life. I tell the kids when I'm giving them their glasses, I'm lucky enough to dispense, and I tell them, if you walk with a limp from the day you're born, you don't know you have a limp. That's just your walk. But one quick doctor's visit and we can clear those eyes for you.
I've been to these events, and you've of course been there when the glasses are actually given out to the kids. What is that like?
Yes, I am lucky enough as the dispensing optician for Vision to Learn, one of them. I get to be the one who gives the glasses out at the school sites, and it's wonderful. I get to hand it to them, I get to adjust it for them, and I get to see all the little comments back and forth, all the communications between the kids, and just the things that they say. It's HD now, and it's 3D now, and it's that's all phenomenal. And the best part for me personally is the ones who don't say anything, the ones who are just starstruck and kind of looking all kinds of ways. It's a different feeling. It's something that I wish I could share with people.
We're just kind of taking in the world as they see it.
Yeah, it's really amazing to suddenly see. I can only imagine what it's like.
So you guys are wrapping up here today, South Cobb, but if people want to take advantage of your services, what can they do going forward here?
Well, if you're looking for next year, please start gearing up towards the end of the year, paying attention to the library's websites and seeing if they have any availabilities. Always visit visiontolearn.org, as well as emailing us at georgia@visiontolearn.org to get any questions or comments, maybe where it'll be closer to where you are. But also show up. We've got a lot of situations. In fact, just today I was able to fill in 6 slots. We had some emergency cancellations, unfortunately, but 6 lucky kids that were just happened to be around, and the parents took advantage of the situation. Please come by to us, to any of our libraries we'll be at in the next week or so.
Wonderful. Zeke, thanks for joining us. Yeah, they're at DeKalb County Library is one of their bigger partnerships, but they do many of the libraries here in the Metro Atlanta area. You can check your library's website, check the Vision to Learn to see what offerings they may have.
Awesome. Chris, such a good resource offered to the community, and I understand we checked the library's website for more resources to understand where they're going to be next and some of the next dates if families are trying to take advantage. Kids having working eyes before the school year starts would be really helpful. So like he said, sometimes you don't know you have a problem until you get your eyes checked, and then you're able to see so much more clearly. So Chris Rosenthal, thanks for bringing this to our attention. We will see you again upcoming at 3 o'clock. What would you guys do if a stranger paid for your groceries? Would you jump for joy? Would you say, no, thank you, I've got it? What would be your reaction? We're going to see one woman's reaction and who actually paid for her groceries. Someone unexpected coming up next. Yeah. You guys, we are having a great time back here, but not as good a time, I think, as Christine. What is her name? Christian Miller?
Leslie.
Oh, why do I? Okay, look, I'm messing it up already. That's right, it was Leslie. Leslie, not as good a time as Leslie's having, because I asked you guys a question right before, and it was, what would you do if someone treated you to free groceries? And Georgia Chambers joins us live. There was a viral interaction where one woman was treated to free groceries. Georgia?
Yeah, I had the chance to talk to Leslie early today, and she shared this really sweet story. So NFL rookie and former Georgia Bulldog Christian Miller, pictured here, surprised Leslie by paying for her groceries. Now, Leslie was unloading all of her groceries onto the belt, and she said she was playing Tetris. So it was a lot of groceries, and he came behind her with just a bag of shrimp. And so she tried to be kind and say, listen, before they start ringing me up, just go ahead and take him so he can get out of here.
Yeah.
He instead puts it on the belt and insists that he can pay for all of the groceries. We want you to take a listen. This is what she had to say. She tried to get him to not do it, but Christian insisted.
He says, don't listen to her. Ring it up together. I got it. And again, sir, you don't have to do that. And he says, you know, my mama always taught me to do good deeds, and I would like to bless you today. So please don't take that blessing from me. So, you know, how do you argue with that? I 100% will be cheering him on in my living room from my couch, just thrilled that one day I can say I got to shake his hand.
Well, those are all my questions. I really appreciate you. So I had asked Leslie, I was like, are you going to be a Christian Miller fan? And that was her reaction, because she didn't even know Christian was a football player. She said that he was very large. I mean, he's over 6 feet and over 300 pounds. But it wasn't until he left and said, have a blessed day, a gentleman behind her was like, do you know who that is? And she was like, no. And he was like, that's the Saints rookie, Christian Miller. So she went outside, got this picture with him. But I think this is just some good news that we all need to hear, right?
Of course.
You hear about going in, whether you're in the Starbucks line or fast food restaurants, sometimes the car ahead of you will pay the car behind's bill. And that's really kind, right? But when you see this, he's thinking about training camp. He's thinking about a million different things. But he took time out of his day to make her life a little bit easier.
And it makes us all think, like, what could we be doing to help make someone else's day? And what you put out, I'm a big believer, what you put out comes back to you. So put out good energy, and who knows what blessings you may receive.
Exactly. And it seems like the New Orleans community is already circling around Christian. So I'd just love to see him making an impact on the community.
I'm laughing because I'm like, Saints, you know, house divided. Some people are going to be like, oh, what? The Saints?
I feel like the Falcons people can, you know, understand that. And he's a former dog.
He is. So he's a Georgia Bulldog.
Christian. That doesn't mean they're necessarily rooting for
Listen,
the Saints.
I am originally from the New Orleans area. Don't tell anyone. So, you know, no skin off my back. But I think it's really wonderful what he did, and I'm thankful that you brought it to our attention, Georgia. So thank you so much. Okay, guys. So speaking of food as medicine, Georgia, we were just talking about getting free groceries. Now let's talk. I'm going to let you off the hook here, Georgia, and zoom in. There you go. Thank you. So let's talk about food as medicine, speaking of groceries, because one local organization is working really hard to make sure that people understand how they can use their food to nourish their bodies. Our Eli Jordan joins us live from one of their very popular demonstrations. Eli, tell us a little bit about what Open Hand is doing and how we can get involved.
Okay, well, Ariel, good afternoon, first of all. And Open Hand is pretty much like a nutrition pharmacy. You go to the doctor and you want to get your diabetes under control, it takes care of your cardiovascular system, or you got bad cholesterol, and the doctor says, hey, you need to eat better. We're going to write you a prescription for some produce or whatever. Well, you come to Open Hand and they'll provide it. They're in cahoots with the hospitals on providing good, nutritious food. And joining me now is Jennifer Ball, who is one of the dietitians here. And you just put on a demonstration for some alum of the class, right?
Correct. Today we hosted graduates or alum of our Cooking Matters Produce Prescription program. So oftentimes when they go through this 12-week program, when it ends, it's bittersweet, and they want continued education, continued support. So today is about honoring that need. So we provided them with nutrition education on diabetes and blood sugars and fiber, and we made this delicious lunch to serve with
So
it.
what did you make real quick?
We made a spinach and chickpea salad with a homemade dressing with curry powder, which has turmeric in it for anti-inflammatory properties, Greek yogurt for added protein and calcium, and yummy things like extra virgin olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and other spices.
And probiotics with that Greek yogurt. So I know a little bit about nutrition.
Good job, Eli. That's right. Some probiotics. Absolutely.
And so when someone goes to the doctor and they get a nutrition prescription, what does that kind of entail for the patient?
It means that it's a sign to start getting more curious about your food and getting information from somebody who is an expert. So dietitians are the experts on nutrition and dietetics. So we study the medical, pharmaceutical, and then nutrition on top of that. And at Open Hand, we have a whole team of dietitians. We have a whole team of community dietitians who are ready to show you the realistic ways to bring good nutrition into your life. So that's why we focus on food and recipes and making meals and teaching how to cook.
But it's basically about a 9 to 12 week program for some patients, and they get like I guess boxes of food, produce, and then you guys kind of guide them on what they can do with that. Is that?
Great question. So we have different tiers of interventions. Our produce prescription comes with in-person cooking classes that's hands-on learning experience. Then we also have programs surrounding medically tailored groceries and medically tailored meals. So we find the program that's going to suit them best and meet them where they're at.
And also in our earlier hour, we took a tour of the pre-made, already cooked meals and all that you guys provide to pretty much anyone that wants it, correct? And also to people who really, really need it.
Well, we do want to provide it to everyone. We are a nonprofit, so we do have to rely on grants and philanthropy or donations to get that free service to people in need. So we have lots of things going on, so I always encourage people, if you feel like you have a big need, call client services, go to our website to fill out our intake form because we may have a program for you.
What's your website?
It's openhandatlanta.org.
And also, real quick about the already prepared meals, there's a website you can go to investigate that, because people can purchase those meals as well, right?
Yes, we have a social enterprise that supports the nonprofit. So if you are able to afford so and you want our delicious food that's convenient and healthy, go to goodmeasuremeals.com and order, because every 2 meals you purchase helps us provide 1 meal for free to people in need.
Awesome. Jennifer Ball, thank you so much. Here at Open Hand, check out their website, openhandatlanta.org.
Yes.
And find out more. Back to you, Ariel.
Eli, thanks so much for bringing this to our attention. Really good resources and a wonderful way to try to improve our health with the foods that we eat. So thank you. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, really quickly, guys, I do want to let you know that DoorDash has just gotten the green light from the FAA to launch a drone delivery program. It's called DoorDash Air, and it was built by DoorDash Labs. And the same robotics team that created Dot, the company's ground delivery robot. Walmart and Amazon are already experimenting with drone delivery in some markets, and DoorDash expects drones to cut delivery times along with meeting increasing consumer demand. The service says its autonomous delivery platform will match orders to the most effective delivery method in real time. It did not reveal a timeline for when drone deliveries could start, but if you're riding in an autonomous vehicle here in Atlanta, sometimes you get your food delivered by those iServe robotics on the streets. Now you might get your food delivered by drone through the air. Pretty crazy stuff, but here we are. I guess the future is now. Coming up next, we have the 3 o'clock hour soon to start with Tom Haines, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks for being live with me at 2 o'clock. More to come.
Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haines, your host, live with you in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Want to take you live outside for a look at what is the aftermath of some severe storms that rolled through at least parts of the metro Atlanta area last night. Some rocking and rolling, if you happen to hear it overnight, and it perhaps woke you up like it did me. Now we're just left with some hazy skies out there. The cloud cover has helped temperatures moderate a little bit. We're going to check in with meteorologist Doug Evans here in just a couple of seconds as to what the rest of the work week forecast holds for us. Meanwhile, we have an incredible story in the midst of all those storms. Crews across North Georgia still cleaning up some of the damage today. But DeKalb County firefighters had some unexpected surprises while clearing some debris. Annie Mapp live for us in Stonecrest with how first responders stepped in, Annie, to deliver a healthy baby overnight.
Definitely not what these first responders were expecting, Tom. This all happened just after 1 o'clock this morning in the 600 block of Northern Avenue in Clarkston. They say they were out there trying to clear debris following the severe weather that we got, and that they were also checking on residents when they had a man in a van approach them. They say he appeared to need a lot of help. He was panicking. He said that his wife was in labor and that they were not going to be able to make it to the hospital and that he needed help right now. Well, thankfully for him, those paramedics were in the area at that time and were able to step in and help deliver that baby. This all happening again on Northern Avenue this morning. The paramedics and first responders that were out there tell me they were thankfully able to deliver that baby and then sent the mom and the baby off to the hospital, where we're told she and the child are in great condition. But just an amazing story through it all, Tom. Just take a listen to what one of the captains that were out there last night told us.
Clearing the scene from, the storm damage, and a deaf father pulled up in a minivan. Wife was in labor. Baby was, born right as they arrived, and, we treated mom and baby. Baby was very healthy, and, got them ready for transport to the hospital.
And again, thankfully, those crews were out there because, as we mentioned earlier, there was a lot of debris along the road. So it was difficult for that father to be able to get through the neighborhood, to get out, and then, of course, make his way to the hospital. He was actually at work when his wife called him and told him that she was going into labor and that she needed help. Apparently, he rushed from work, tried to make it through even, through the severe weather that we were getting last night, and was able to make it to the house, but he realized quickly that they were not going to make it to the hospital. So just a good story all around, and great to hear that that mother and that baby are both doing okay. We know this is now their 5th child that they have welcomed into this world.
Okay, so they're good at doing this at this point after 5 kids. But I'm thinking to myself, like, having a baby. I have two grown kids by now, but I remember having a kid is harrowing enough when you're in the safety and security of a hospital, not to mention trying to get to the hospital, and then the baby is born on the way, not to mention in the middle of some torrential rain, thunder, and lightning. I'm curious, and perhaps you've already mentioned it, Annie, but did the father actually have to call 911, or did this crew sort of happen upon this couple as they were trying to get to the hospital?
Yes, the father did not call 911 from what we know. He, again, rushed home from work when his wife told him that she was feeling as if she was going into labor. And he got there, loaded her up into the vehicle. But as they're making it through the neighborhood, they didn't get far from their house when he realized that they just were not going to make it. And, they were really lucky that these firefighters were already in the neighborhood and could step in to help. I mean, these guys are trained. The captain that you just heard from, he told that they are equipped to do, and that they are happy to help residents be able to tackle, of course.
Well,
great story.
Baby number 5 is going to have a lot of reminders of this story. Is it a boy or a girl, by the way? Do we know?
I believe it is a boy. I'm not totally sure, but I believe it is a boy.
Okay. Well, is going to have a lot of stories growing up about what happened, how he was brought into this world, and I'm predicting, although I may be wrong, a visit by this family, 5 kids in tow, to the fire department to just say thank you to these first responders who were there just in the nick of time. Incredible. Annie Mapp, live for us.
Yeah, I know it was challenging.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know it was challenging. We were speaking to the captain, and he said, you know, there was even a language barrier there. So he says, you know, it was a struggle, but thankfully they knew right away what he meant when they saw her in that condition. So again, thankfully they were able to help this family.
We love a good news story, especially right off the top here at 3 o'clock. Annie Mapp live for us in the Stonecrest area this afternoon. Annie, thanks so much. As we continue here, we want to tell you about a routine traffic stop which turned into a terrifying experience for a Marietta mother and her 2 children. Police say a shirtless man approached the family at a Shell gas station on Delk Road, became aggressive, and then tried to grab the woman's children. Listen to this.
This individual just started approaching the car, seeming to have a conversation with the woman while she was pumping her gas, minding her own business. He appears to charge at the car. He's trying to open the car doors. He's trying to pull the child out of the back seat. What is this individual capable of? What are they doing? Why are they trying to get in my own car? What are they doing trying to pull children out of the car?
Warrant shows the woman told police that the man said he had a gun. Video shows a young boy jumping out of the car. The man then tries to grab him and then runs around the car to pull another child out. The mother fought to keep him away naturally. Instinct kicked in here. And while 2 bystanders rushed in to help, somebody called 911. The man, Jerron Tucker, got into his car and tried to leave, but thankfully officers stopped and arrested him. He's now facing charges including kidnapping, simple assault, and possession of a controlled substance. DeKalb County police have arrested a 15-year-old in the deaths of 2 men found at Doll's Head Trail. Officers responded to shots fired early Friday morning and found 2 men shot to death in the parking lot. Later, police identified the victims as 27-year-old Andres Pedro Baltzar and 23-year-old Tomas Pascal Cano. Because of the teen suspect's age, police aren't releasing his name. He's facing 2 counts of malice murder, as well as possession of a pistol by a minor and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. 2 Delta Airlines jets were involved in a scary incident that we want to tell you about this afternoon here.
Delta 2472, turn right heading 360, climb and maintain 4,000.
Right turn 360 to 4,000 for Delta 2472.
Affirmative, 4,000.
4,000 copy, 340 on the heading, Delta 2472.
Delta 911 coming departure, farewell.
Delta 1568 going around.
68, turn right heading 360, climb maintain 4,000.
Right, 360. Delta 2472 responding RA.
So that was the cockpit voice reporting from the tower and a couple of Delta jets. So let me set this up for you. The FAA says that 2 Delta jets nearly collided. Federal investigators now involved in this. Delta Flight 2472, bound for Rochester, New York, was taking off when it crossed in front of Delta Flight 1568, arriving from Pittsburgh. The pilot of 1568 conducted a go-around maneuver because another plane was reportedly slow to clear the runway when Flight 2472 crossed in front of it. Both aircraft triggered that cockpit alert and came a little too close for comfort here. Air traffic controllers commanded the departing plane to turn and climb away. Delta says that it is cooperating with federal investigators as they try to figure out exactly what happened here. One of Georgia's largest healthcare systems cutting hundreds of jobs, we understand. Wellstar Health System announcing it's laying off 761 employees across the state. The reductions represent about 2% of Wellstar's workforce of more than 35,000 people. Health system officials say that the cuts come after a comprehensive organizational review to simplify operating structures and control costs. The layoffs are now concentrated in corporate and shared services functions, along with certain administrative roles within Wellstar Medical Group. Officials emphasize that no frontline medical workers like doctors or nurses are affected. Wellstar says the decision's based on industry benchmarks, adding that patient care will not be impacted. However, health system has not yet specified exactly when the layoffs will occur or which specific departments are going to see the heaviest cuts. We have another amazing story. As if a baby being born in the middle of storms wasn't enough, this time a Douglas County High School football player making headlines for his accomplishments off the field. Let's bring in Kevin Stewart, who spoke with a New Manchester student who just scored, Kevin, do I have this straight, a perfect SAT score?
Yeah, that's 1600, 1600, a perfect score. And to give you some perspective, he is checked with the College Board. He's in the 99+% percentile and 0.005% of people who take the test every year score a perfect score. So he is pretty rare, and he is a student athlete. As you said, he plays wide receiver here at New Manchester High School. He'll be returning here on Wednesday, like all the kids at Douglas County schools. And what's particularly interesting is that he's coming back to the classroom here, but he's also a football player. He's been practicing out here on the football field for the last couple of days, getting it in. He's coming back from a big injury, and so it's going to be really interesting for him. He's got a lot of goals upcoming for the next school year. This young man says that just being smart isn't what gets you a 1600. It's about the hard work, the discipline. He said he's been studying. He took the test. In May. He had been studying since October. And the interesting thing is he said, he just thought, okay, well, let me see how I do. You know, he wasn't gunning for a 1600. He did a practice test and got over a 1500 and kind of said, hey, well, maybe I'll get a 1600, but he says that usually the practice tests, he says usually the scores are a little inflated, but when he came back and got the 1600, he was elated. His family obviously was extremely excited. I want you to take a listen to the young man, Corey Sessoms, and his parents.
Don't worry about everyone else. Don't try to fit in with everyone else. Just stay locked in. And when you're in a class, don't get discouraged about a score. Just keep trying. You'll get better.
Well, I mean, it's a blessing, first of all. And it says to me that anything's possible as long as you put the work in. And I always tell my kids that, you can say you want to be anything in life, but to actually do it, you have to put the work in. And if you do, you'll get the results.
There is a world where individuals are celebrated and they're not just tolerated. And to us, that is so important for him being a young black male. I mean, in a world where it can go a different way, it's, refreshing to know that, he has that support from his team and he also has that support from us. His resilience, his ability to continue going despite any obstacles, challenges, his, He wakes up every morning at 5 a.m. and he works out, he prepares for the day. If he has to do assignments, he does that, and then he starts his day, whether it be going to class or having to, go to practice for football or even tutoring his brother. And so that for me is what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, very proud. You heard Corey give his advice. Stay focused. Don't worry about the distractions. He says that he's able to focus on football and focus on his academics because of that discipline. And he says actually playing sports has helped him strengthen his discipline. You could hear parental advice that his parents say, hey, you got to stay on your kids, and how they were able to let him know that he can accomplish anything if he works hard at it. His goal coming up this time next year is to be attending Yale University. Tom?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say, Kevin, I mean, at this point, the world is his oyster, right? It's almost for anyone miraculous to score perfect score on these standardized tests. They're so hard. And no matter what, you're bound to come up short in some regard, some way, somehow. But not this young man. I mean, not only is he a standout football player, He scored a perfect 1,600 on the SATs. I'm sure his grades in school are reflective of his smarts as well. He is a humble young man.
He is an A student.
Yeah. Do we know, while your shot kind of dips out for a second, do we know what he plans to pursue once he gets to Yale?
Yeah, you know what, let's play a game, Tom. I want you to guess this one.
Okay.
Think of two careers. If you have an 800 on your math and an 800 on your verbal, what are the two careers that probably come to mind if you're really good at math and really good at English and verbal skills?
I could think of something maybe in aviation, maybe an airline pilot where you got to think on your feet. Numbers are involved, but you got to be able to communicate with the tower and passengers, or gosh, I don't know, something in law perhaps. Okay. Maybe a tax attorney if he's going to court.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, 800 on the math score. He wants to be an undergrad engineering student.
Okay. All right.
Graduate from college and go to law school. 800 on the verbal. There you go.
Perfect.
Perfect matches.
He's got a long runway ahead of him and nothing in front of him. So we wish this young man so well. We're so impressed by all his success at such a young age. And if a reflection of your parents is any example, boy, he is a chip off the old block, as my dad used to say. Kevin Stewart with this amazing story for us this afternoon. Kevin, thanks so much. Want to talk about a story that happened here yesterday, but one that you might have missed on the 3 p.m. streaming hour. We covered it live, and that is the judge sentencing young Colt Gray to life in prison without the possibility of parole for his shooting spree, murder 4 times over at Apalachee High School in September 2024. Barrow County judge handing down one of the harshest sentences possible for the gunman who opened fire inside that school. The 16-year-old pleading guilty to 55 charges on Friday, leading to a lengthy sentencing hearing which lasted 3 days. Let's listen to the judge.
You aren't racked with guilt. You're proud of yourself. Less than a month after the tragedy, you weren't concerned with the horror you wrought, but rather with finding out which mass murderers they were comparing you to. A youth may fail to consider the harm his rash actions inflict before acting, but you did consider it. You studied that pain when you researched the trials of your profane idols. You contemplated that pain over and over. This wasn't transient immaturity. It was deliberate, contemplated evil. You are all too aware of the court outcome of those mass shootings because you studied and obsessed over them. You know that the Aurora Theater shooter received life without parole. Nicholas Cruz received life without parole. Ethan Crumley, a juvenile, received life without parole. Yet you were not dissuaded. Your plan was not hastily hatched. It was a slow boil simmering more than a year's time. You savored the thought of it, you visualized it, and you fantasized about it. You broke it down step by step in visualizing what you were going to do. The thought of mimicking these other mass murders is what brought you joy. Now, for the rest of us, there is no joy here today. There's only a measure of closure. The slain will not return to life, the injured will not forget their wounds, and a 16-year-old boy will live and die in prison.
Those were some profound words near the end of that sentencing, that a 16-year-old boy now will live and die in prison. After the 4 people that he murdered, the others that he injured, the lives that he changed forever. The Barrow County judge sentencing Colt Gray to life in prison without the possibility of parole for those murders. That happening here live on Fox Local during the 3 p.m. streaming hour yesterday. Speaking of live, we want to take you to the White House right now, into the Oval Office, where President Trump has gathered a group of transportation officials, including the Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, to talk about renovations at Dulles International Airport. Remember, there's 3 airports that serve in the Washington, D.C. area: Washington, Reagan, Dulles, and BWI out in Baltimore. The president has long complained about how backwards Dulles Airport is, that it's an infrastructure nightmare that's never been addressed, that you have to park 2 miles from the airport simply to get in. Let's listen to part of the proposal for this new ambitious project.
But as the president said, it was a long-term plan. We thought it was too modest, too slow, too modest. And
60 years isn't too modest.
Decades. But with the president's attention and focus on this, it's accelerated, it's expanded, and we're actually going to realize the vision, and a much greater vision now. So it's a very exciting day for Washington, for the whole nation.
Well, these people have all been fantastic, and they want to see it get done and get done properly, and it should be done as one airport, not being built in chunks, which would have been, frankly, a catastrophe, I think. So thank you very much. You have any questions?
President Trump, very quickly on this issue, did you just say 2 years? It would take 2 years to finish?
We think we can get it started fairly quickly. It's largely financed. And, we need some approvals from Congress probably, but generally speaking, it's been very bipartisan.
And then on the attack, the drone attack on the LNG tanker off of Egypt, what can you tell us about that? And is there any indication it's Iran related? Does it represent?
Well, I'm going to give you a report. I've been briefed. It's a little more of the same, but it's going to be straightening out. It's going to be straightening out. In the meantime, we're going to be hitting them very hard, because it's our turn to hit them. They know it's coming. They're asking us not to do it, but they tried shooting it last night. So we had 5 rockets shot going 8,500 miles an hour, and all 5 rockets were knocked down to the ground. But they nevertheless took a shot, so it's our turn. And we'll see if we get there with an agreement at some point, but we're going to hit them very hard.
Mr. President, first on this, is this expected to affect any incoming or outgoing flights?
No, we think we can do it without a lot of disruption, very little.
And then
it might even be better.
On Leader Thune, what's your reaction to him saying that there's no evident path to success on killing the filibuster or passing the Save America Act?
Well, that's too bad for him. I mean, that's too bad for him and too bad for the Republican Party.
Do you believe that?
He's got the votes. He should get it done. He should be able to get it.
Thank you. Dr. Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times today. Senator Rand Paul said he's going to hold a vote on holding him in contempt of Congress. Do you think Dr. Fauci...
All right, President Trump, live in the Oval Office right now, taking questions from reporters, just talked about Iran really quick, that the United States will be retaliating for an Iranian strike against a U.S. base in the Middle East, targeting U.S. service members. This just happened overnight. So clearly the situation in Iran is escalating, not de-escalating, as we thought earlier this week, when the two sides appear to be headed toward negotiation. The president also talking about plans to completely overhaul Dulles International Airport, something that he said hasn't been done in decades. When we come back, Sky Fox 5 over another breaking situation right now. We're going to tell you about that right here as we continue, so don't go anywhere. Before we went to break, I talked about a situation that our helicopter was over. This is in Conyers, where police are dealing with what they're describing as a barricaded subject in the area of Park Circle. Now, our chopper has been asked to move because of a flight restriction above that scene. Obviously, they're trying to deal with the subject inside, and they don't want any interference. So we're being discreet, following orders. But as soon as we get some pictures up of the situation that we're over right now, again, in Conyers, where police are dealing with this barricaded subject, all right? I'm being told that these live pictures are okay to use. Again, happening in Park Circle, where there is what is being described as a large police presence in the area. They're encouraging motorists not to really be in that area, again, in the area of Park Circle. If you're familiar with the Conyers area, you'll know exactly where I'm talking about. So we're going to continue to stay on top of that situation. We have a crew also working this story in conjunction with our assignment desk, and as soon as we get more information, we will pass it along to you. Want to talk about our weather now. Boy, we had some storms rock and roll their way through the area last night. I don't know if you were woken up by them, but I sure was. It was loud out there, and the rain came down in tow. Let's check in with meteorologist Doug Evans to figure out what this rest of our work week is going to have in store for us.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Listen, if you've stepped outside, you know already that it's hot and it's humid, downright muggy. Our current humidity is in the tropical range outside, so it is very, very soupy. There's good news in our forecast. We're going to get rid of this humidity over the next couple of days, and it's going to be more in what we would determine as the comfy level for Thursday and Friday. That's thanks to drier, cooler air that's on its way on the backside of that frontal system that came through overnight and fired up those storms. There's that drier air moving in. This becomes a stationary front then parked in South Georgia, still firing up some storms that way. So if you're headed down to the beach or whatever, might drive through some weather as you head down south. But for the most of us, we're going to have partly cloudy skies today, much improved. The drier air does not reach us until this evening, and so we can expect that we're going to have some drier air in here and some cooler temperatures. Listen, right now it's 84 degrees in Atlanta, 92, 93 in Milledgeville. It's crazy out there. It's going to get up to nearly 100 degrees in the southeastern part of our area today. Not so for the rest of us. We're talking low 90s for today. There you go. Lots of sunshine out there. Temperatures in the low 90s. Even up in Dalton, 91 degrees, Blairsville at 85 this afternoon. Then overnight, that's going to be much improved because we're going to get that drier air in here. We see our temperatures kind of dive back down into the more normal range for the end of July, and that's going to be a much pleasanter evening. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up with temperatures that are in the 60s or the 70s and that humidity is lower, that's going to be a nice time to be outside for your morning hours. Maybe you walk, maybe you jog or whatever, you're outside biking in the morning. That should be a lot more pleasant. So here we go in our hour by hour. All that rain moves out, drier air moves in. That's going to affect our cloud cover. We get rid of some clouds as well, partly cloudy for this afternoon, a little bit sunnier than for tomorrow. Here's our next rainmaker. It's back over just outside Nashville, western Tennessee and central Tennessee. They've had quite a summer with rain. That continues today as well and into the weekend. As that system moves then, that's coming our way for Saturday and Sunday. 40% chance for rain on Saturday, 70% chance for rain on Sunday. Listen, enjoy the next couple of days. Yes, it's hot. It's in the 90s, but it's going to be less humid. So those morning hours, those evening hours, those are going to be prime for getting outside. Listen, Saturday and Sunday, we're down into the 80s. That's a little bit of relief, right? But the humidity is back up as we we get these systems in here and we fire up some more thunderstorms, especially on Sunday. Backside of that, we're a little bit cooler, and then we get back into our more summertime, more seasonable weather there for the start of that work week. Also, the start of school for a lot of kids. Monday, August 3rd, we can expect 87 degrees, some afternoon thunderstorms, and a 40% chance for rain. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
All right, Doug, thanks. Piggybacking on what Doug was saying, I want to take you back outside live again to show you the situation as it stands right now. This is the Dunwoody-Sandy Springs area where you're taking a live look at the King and Queen. 285 looks like it's moving pretty good at this hour. So after the storms rolled through last night, causing damage in a lot of areas, it just left behind a soupy sort of atmosphere out there with heat and humidity. But we heard earlier in the day, Annie Mapp told us the harrowing story of that baby that was born in the middle of the storms. Boy, how about that? Now we're going to move on and talk about the damage left behind in terms of drivers facing some challenges out there on the road and road conditions this morning. These power crews have been out and about, specifically in the area of Windsor Parkway in Sandy Springs, where we just showed you that live picture. And our Angelique Proctor is there. Angelique, we understand that there were some downed trees in the area, creating a real problem for folks where you are.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Tom. That is correct. Those overnight storms causing lots of damage. In fact, you might be able to see behind me, there is a ladder that has been extended up, and you can see the tree there and some of the damage that is left here. We're actually on Roswell Road. This is the Celebration Apartments, and when that tree came down, they tell me it was about 1:30 or 2 this morning. It toppled down and ended up damaging not one, not two, but 4 cars. And that apartment building is apartment building number 35. But residents say they were grateful in the end because no one was injured. A lot of people, though, were awakened, and the apartment complex tells me they immediately started texting each other and taking video and couldn't believe what they saw with so many of the cars being damaged. Now, we actually talked to one of those car owners that is now facing a repair bill. Let's take a listen.
Around 1:30. Yeah, 1:30 in the morning. You know, we hear like a tense storm, but we don't know what's happened until this morning. When we wake up, we find out like 4 cars. Part of the apartment there is damaged. Is hit too hard? If you see there, yeah. I think they evacuate them to the hotel yesterday late night. And we'll see. I think we're going to evacuate all together. Maybe this late night. We'll see what's going on.
And the damage actually continues here in Sandy Springs. Take a look at this. Wires were down, traffic lights out, and power outages. That was Peachtree Dunwoody Road at Windsor Park. Now, crews have spent much of the day trying to get a lot of those wires restrewn and to get some of this damage cleaned up so that people can try to get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Yeah, it's a real nightmare, Angelique, when something like that happens, especially to your home, as we can see there behind you. You know, the sort of race is on, I guess, for these residents to fix and recover as soon as possible. And I do see a tree crew out there behind you, but and you may have already mentioned this perhaps, but is power on in that area? At least do they have electricity to kind of hasten the process of getting back together?
Yes, they actually do have electricity, but the people who live in the apartment that you see here have been relocated to a hotel, so I'm not sure that they do. But the rest of this building, we can see that the lights are on and the electricity is in fact working. So it's really those 4 owners of those cars that suffered such an incredible loss, having all of that shattered glass and not being able to drive around today. That's been the real inconvenience, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. It's good that they're safe and sound and being accommodated at a nearby hotel as they kind of work to piece their lives back together in the aftermath of these storms, which kind of came out of nowhere. Did you hear them last night, by the way?
You know, funny you ask me that. I didn't hear a thing, Tom. I was wondering what was all the fuss about. But I guess I'm in one of those areas, or perhaps I'm a very sound sleeper. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, maybe you're a deep sleeper, because they seem to be like everywhere last night. Angelique Proctor, live with the aftermath of how the storms affected folks up in the Sandy Springs area. Angelique, thanks. I want to talk about the Atlanta Track Club right now. You know, the organization that handles the Peachtree Road Race every year. The Atlanta Track Club proposing a $100 million indoor track and field center at historic Cheney Stadium in Summerhill. Now, if approved, the 175,000 square foot complex would become Georgia's first dedicated indoor competition facility. The proposed center features a 200-meter hydraulic oval track, a health and wellness clinic, and a STEAM center for local students. Cheney Stadium famously served as a warm-up site for the 1996 Centennial Olympic Games, where gold medalists like Gail Devers trained. The Atlanta Track Club plans to fully fund the project through private donations, tax credits, and commercial partnerships without using city tax dollars. Construction would begin within 18 months, with goals to open the facility by the end of 2029. Organizers are currently holding the community meetings, gathering neighbors for their feedback, with the next session scheduled for August the 12th at King Middle School. How about that? A popular food delivery service wants to airlift your order to you by drone. It was just a matter of time before this happened, right? We're talking about DoorDash getting the okay from the FAA to launch a drone delivery program. It's called DoorDash Air and was built by DoorDash Labs, the same robotics team that created Dot, the company's ground delivery robot. Walmart and Amazon are already experimenting with drone deliveries in some markets. DoorDash expects drones to cut delivery times along with meeting increased consumer demand. In the wake of the World Cup, FIFA president is planning to create a $20 billion company to run the World Cup with private investors, including the Kushner family. Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of President Donald Trump, married to Ivanka Trump. But it is facing backlash. The Europa League saying, quote, "None of us are owners of football." FIFA is working with JP Morgan along with investors, including Thrive Eternal, which was founded by the Kushner family. It comes off the heels of FIFA's World Cup, which fueled concerns about ties with President Donald Trump. And while FIFA is a not-for-profit association under the 11-year presidency of this current president, this is the second time he's pushed for a deal with private bankers. Coming up, a lot more still in store for you here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. We're going to take you to Georgia Tech, which is launching a brand new research hub designed to bring AI medical breakthroughs out of the lab and directly to patient care. Quite innovative and interesting. We're going to tell you about it as we continue. Welcome back. So happy you're with us on Fox Local during the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm Tom Haines with you live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Appreciate you streaming with us. If you're on your mobile device on our free Fox Local app, which we hope you have downloaded, or if you're at home watching on one of your live channels this afternoon, welcome to you as well on one of our social media platforms at Fox 5 Atlanta. We're streaming now on our story on Instagram, so you can always touch that and watch us as we cover all kinds of news happening of the day. Or if you're out and about around town listening to us on our radio partners, 107.9 HD2 FM, certainly glad you're listening to us here today. I want to take you to Georgia Tech, where they are always leading innovation. And this time is no exception. They're hoping to bring AI medical breakthroughs straight to the patient. Maria Guzman live on campus with a look at how technology, Maria, will help predict, treat, and prevent disease, we understand.
Hey, Tom. Yeah, it's really fascinating. And something I learned that I didn't think was possible is that they're going to be making virtual models of human cells to, one, learn about the diseases, but also find personalized treatment options. When we talk about diseases, some of those, it can be like Crohn's disease, autoimmune disease. That also includes thyroid disease. Those diseases that are managed and are not be able and can't be fixed. And so I spoke to the lead researcher behind this on how they're using AI and also how they're going to be using those virtual model human cells in their work as well. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
What you want to be able to do is understand and predict how cells work and quantitatively respond to perturbations. So now you have an individual cell. That's very great. I have a cardiac cell. But they talk to everybody. The cells have to talk to each other. So then you have to integrate collections of cellular behavior. And then you have to, I got two cells. Now I have a tissue. I wanted to go to an organ. How do you build this up to ultimately build a digital avatar that's us, okay? And what you want to be able to do is to say for you, what are the medical conditions you're likely to get? And if you get this, what is likely to be the best treatment? Because why take especially for the more severe diseases like chemotherapy drugs, they're designed to kill cells. So it's a race. Kill the cells that try to kill you before you die. So if it doesn't work, all you're doing is being miserable. We can help fix this. So I have some extraordinarily talented undergraduates, mostly CS majors, some biology majors who want to do CS. They are developing the tools to actually make this dream, and it is a dream, a reality. And it's going to happen in stages. It's not going to happen instantaneously. And so, we have, now we just recently recruited a new undergraduate, a freshman who's very excited. Georgia Tech has some very talented, exceptionally talented students who want to help change the world of medicine. Now, whether we succeed or not, the jury is out yet, but that's the goal. It's a team effort. This is not one man. It's just not me just doing it. It's a whole collection. I've got some extraordinary collaborators that are enabling this to have a good shot to succeed.
Yes, and just something to know as well is that Georgia Tech here doesn't have a school of medicine. However, they do have a college of science. So even though that they don't have a school of medicine, they are tapping into this field. And Tom, this is AI, so all the work is done through computer, which means that there's not really a specific building here in campus dedicated to the center because it's all done in computers, which is really cool.
Well, they're always breaking ground at Georgia Tech. They're always on the forefront of technology, AI certainly being no exception. And it's just a matter of time, Maria, and I'm sure you kind of gathered this from the folks that you spoke to there on campus, before AI moves further and further into the medical field. And I'm talking about in hospitals, radiology, reading MRI reports, diagnosing people, having robots running around hospital floors, going into rooms, taking the vitals of patients. On the one hand, it's a little scary to think about in terms of workforces and workflow, but on the other hand, you just can't turn your head away from the incredible technology that's coming out of a place like Georgia Tech.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. I mean, the professor was just telling me how he's using AI already in his daily work. You know, they go through a lot of documents and research papers, so it definitely helps there. Obviously, there's its good and bad, right, reasons on AI, and here they're using it for the right reasons, and that is to find treatment to those diseases that we haven't found them yet.
Well, it's fascinating. And for everybody I hear talking about how AI, we're going to lose jobs, watch any of the financial news networks where they have people talking about how AI is actually going to create jobs. So hopefully it's a wash where that is concerned, or that AI even creates more jobs. Happens every time there's sort of a technological or industrial revolution. We always worry about how it's going to affect people and workforces. Maria Guzman, live on the campus of Georgia Tech for us this afternoon. Maria, thanks. I want to talk about another program, a mobile eye exam program. It's called Vision to Learn, doing free eye exams for children who are headed back to school. Kids who need to get glasses, who might not know they do need to get glasses. Well, this resource is there for them in partnership with DeKalb County Libraries. Shout out to Chris Rosenthal, who's on top of this for us this afternoon. What a great program for parents and children to have access to something like this, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. And about 33 kids were seen today, ages 5 to 18. They bring out these 2 mobile vans that have kind of everything you need in them to do an eye exam, all the equipment that they need. And then from there, the kids, if they need glasses, they get to, they have a whole host of glasses there that they can pick out, a nice selection there, and come back in about a month and get those glasses. And all of it is for free. It's a resource you have to sign up for, and they have partnered since 2018. Vision to Learn has partnered since 2018 with the libraries here, and I'm here at South Cobb Library, actually where it all started. And since then, they've done about over 10,000 exams, and about 7,000 pairs of glasses for students. So really a remarkable number, making a very big difference. And I talked with one of the opticians, Ezekiel Diaz, here today, just about, why this is so important, what they do. And I also talked to some of the parents about what this means to them. Let's take a listen. How big of a help is this for the parents?
Phenomenal. I've heard all kinds of stories. Most times, actually, we've got sibling groups of 2, 3, or even 4. I mean, it's hard enough nowadays to take care of one. Imagine, 4 kids in one go. You've got need, and we can fill it.
And you can tell me about kind of the layout here. You have 2 vans, and they have everything you need, huh?
Yeah, we're lucky enough today to be able to bring 2 vans and see even more kids than we normally would. The vans are outfitted with a full eye exam setup, so we've got fundus cameras, autorefractors, lensometers, phoropters, everything you need to complete a comprehensive exam on a child.
And you guys are going to, you guys have been partnered for a long time with the library systems here. Tell me about that.
Yes, we have. It's been an amazing partnership because the school year ends and our work doesn't. Our work continues. We get to go into these libraries and see, find them where they're at, because sometimes it's hard to make your way out. And in fact, sometimes we have people come from other areas. So if you don't have a library near you, but you still want to come to one of ours and get an eye exam, you can make the trip.
And you've done this a while. What's it like when the kids get those glasses and put them on their face?
It's actually the reason it's the reason I do what I do. The face they make, the wows, the oh my gods, the laughter that comes out of nowhere, the kids saying it's 3D now when it always was 3D, but now it's even more 3D than it was. It's amazing.
It is extremely important. It made a big deal. Our story is their eyesight was always fine, and then during COVID we were told, don't go to the doctors unless you absolutely have to. So they went like 2 years without exams. When we came back, one of my sons was almost like legally blind in one of his eyes. And so when he went back and got the glasses that he needed, now he wears them 24/7 because he just loves the way things look.
course, if you're interested in this program, taking part in this, you can check with your local libraries. They partner with DeKalb County as well as many other of the county library systems here in Metro Atlanta, and there's still a few more dates left to register for. Tom.
Incredible program, great for those who need to get glasses on their kids, a resource for them to do just that before they enter into the school year so they can perform at their very best and actually see what's in front of them and down on the page. Chris Rosenthal, live for us this afternoon in Cobb County. Chris, thanks. Remember that barricaded subject situation we told you about in Conyers? Skyfox 5 was flying over that scene. Well, we are on the ground now. Take a look at these live pictures, and you can see it still looks like a pretty tense situation here. This is happening, again, up in Conyers, where a large police presence is assembled there in the area of Park Circle, all right, where we're being informed that they are dealing with a barricaded subject. Police all day up there have been warning people not to kind of go into this area. If you look on the left-hand side of your screen, upper left, you could see an officer there, rifle drawn, kind of skimming the fence, that wooden fence around that home. Indicating what? I don't know, but another officer straight in front of us running to that scene. We're going to continue to watch these live pictures, and we have a crew on the ground there working to gather more information, but it looks like an active, intense situation, one that we'll continue to be covering here as we continue. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour on this Wednesday afternoon. It's been another very busy day of news. Want to talk about now an organization called Open Hand Atlanta, proving that healthy eating, just not a temporary diet, is a community-wide lifestyle change and one that we should be thinking about. Eli Jordan live on West Marietta Street with a look at a special graduation ceremony of sorts, a cooking event, Eli, celebrating this growing food is medicine movement.
Yeah, Tom, I mean, I like to think about Open Hand as a nutrition pharmacy. You go to the doctor, you know, browbeats you for, you know, high cholesterol or being a little overweight maybe, or maybe you need to work on your cardio or, you know, things like that. And they put you on a prescription program. And also, too, you may have grown up in an area where you don't have anything accessible. Well, they give you this prescription of nutrition, and Open Hand is the one who provides the food and the recipes. And with me right now is dietitian Jennifer Ball. Hey, Jennifer.
Hi.
And so this program is so popular. You guys prescribe the foods, and then you show people how to cook the foods. But once that window of 9 to 12 weeks runs out, people want to stay because they enjoyed it so much and it enlightened their lives and improved their lives so much. They come back, and that's what we had here today, correct?
Correct. So some of our programs are longer term, some of them are shorter term. Today we celebrated graduates from a program that runs for 12 weeks. They always want to come back, learn more, get more resources. So we had some funding to provide that for 2026. And today we focused on diabetes care, and we made this delicious chickpea salad with spinach and a homemade yogurt and curry dressing. And it was a hit. People ate it up.
And so, you guys are going to be doing this a couple more times throughout this year because, give everybody else an opportunity to come back and also revisit with friends and reconnect, correct?
Yes, the community is a big part of that. People make friends in my classes. They exchange numbers, and it's just lovely because some people get very isolated, very lonely, and food is a great way to bring people to the table.
And just, rattle off some of the hospitals that, use your services, I guess.
Yes, we are partners with many metro hospitals, including Emory, Piedmont, Mercy Care, and others. So we do a lot of community partnership work. That way we can connect patients to something outpatient, something feasible for them to focus on.
Real quick, tell me your website so people know it. We're getting a little bit short on time.
Absolutely, openhandatlanta.org. And if you want to purchase our meals, it's goodmeasuremeals.com.
And that's real quick. You guys actually make fully cooked, prepared meals that you guys will deliver, correct?
Correct. We have different intervention levels, and at our highest is our medically tailored meals, which are cooked in-house and then delivered to a person's home.
And if somebody at home just wants to buy it for the food, they can go to
goodmeasuremeals.com.
Goodmeasuremeals.com, and they can buy it themselves.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Jennifer Ball, thank you so much. And I'm glad people got to come back out here and re-experience the learning of the good nutrition. And Tom, that's what's been happening here. And it's kind of, it wrapped up a few hours ago, but we got the chickpea and spinach salad here.
Absolutely. There's a lot of great fiber in this recipe, anti-inflammatory properties from the turmeric and the spinach as well.
Delicious. Eli, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Health is wealth, after all. Thanks for joining us for the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm Tom Haynes. More breaking news as we continue right here, right now.